Welcome to the Rogers Center in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We are ready to drop the gate on another round of Monster Energy AMA Supercross, an FIM World Championship. The waving of the checkered flags at the top of the finish line jump signifies to the riders this 450 qualifying session is over. Here's a look at the result.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you see a guy, I would say, if you were to see Smiling Sam Alvey on the street.
Right.
And you got in an argument with him for whatever reason. You think, I'm going to kick this guy's ass.
He's wearing a sweater with a tie underneath it. Looks like a car salesman.
The guy's tougher than shit. You just would never guess.
You'd never guess.
It's time now for the final 450 heat race. 4 more riders will transfer out of this heat straight to the main event. You want to get one of those highly coveted transfer spots locked in now, so you don't have to race your way through the semi.
150 pounds, yeah. Especially now. Like, I think now jiu-jitsu has really been adopted by a lot of, like Eddie calls them like nerd assassins.
Right.
Because they really are. Like, these guys who are just really smart. They're into the technique and into the fact that
it's a jiu-jitsu by a computer programmer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That level of thinking through things. And it's cool. I've rolled with a lot of guys like that. This is stupid.
This guy. Especially now with the leg locking. With the leg locking, it seems like strength is less of a factor. With that you're constantly defending against that. Whatever strength you do have in your back or your upper body, you're not really getting a chance to do it. You're just trying to defend. They get deep. They get a couple steps in on you. They're like, shoosh. It doesn't slow down.
And I always loved leg locks. I love leg locks. A guy like Dave Monet, Matt Hume, those guys were all sick leg locks. Yeah, sure. Eric Paulson, good leg locker, all of those guys. Catch combo.
Who did Matt Hume wrestle in that? You know that one time that Eddie put together Dan Gable with the commentator with Eddie? You know the ace of what the wrestler? It's not Kenny Monday. I think it was Kenny Monday. Because Jackson lost to Shane Jackson, lost to Frank Shepard. No, that was UFC. That was Dan 7. Dan Peterson lost to Frank Footlock.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, he was Kenny Monday.
That's when Kurt Angle was calling the action. I was sitting next to Kurt Angle, and Kurt was asking me questions. What's he doing? So he knew what to say on air and stuff.
Right, yeah. That was an interesting thing, that submission tournament.
I thought it was great. I thought if they would ever do it again, but they kind of do that now.
They do that now, but for whatever reason, it doesn't get that much attention. Although Eddie Bravo's figured out a way to give it a little bit more attention. Have you seen combat jiu-jitsu?
A little bit.
They're doing it basically like pancration style slaps, with open hand strikes.
Right.
And it opens up. It's also like what we were talking about before with there's some stuff that you can get away with in MMA because there's no headlocks. There's some stuff that you can get away with in other styles, like in kickboxing, even because there's no clinching, there's no elbows.
Right.
There's all these different little things. Well, with jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of positions where guys can smack you in the face. You have to let go of the walk. Now, after doing that with combat jiu-jitsu, it's a good intermediary step between.
I think it's a good way to find out if you're net for MMA too. I always wanted to be really. He's a trick. And you can tell he's a fighter. Very analytical guy, very analytical guy, very flexibility. I just always was watching him.
He knows a lot of shit, especially when you jiu-jitsu.
And I want to, I'm going to see him tomorrow.
Oh, really? What are you doing?
Sam Griffith.
Sure, I know Sam Griffith.
Yeah. So I'm doing that show, and Eddie's going to be there. I want him to explain flat earth to me.
This is how they do it. I want to know. This is what it is. Eddie thinks that everybody is lying. That everybody is massive about and that they're telling you the world's round, the same way round. Right. And it's not a good way. No, but it's the same reason why he's so good at jiu-jitsu. Because he sees an idea and he just pursues it and chases after it. Jiu-jitsu is like, it's all, it's all fun. It's all like getting two bodies, it's all good for the industry. It's just figuring out a puzzle.
But I can see how people get that way, because I was a guy who, not to go off on a tangent, but I think it's fun to think about. In 1971, when I was, a young boy standing in line in Albia, Iowa with my grandma and my mom when the farm collapse was happening, when Nixon took us off the gold standard, right? Shit fell apart for the farmers right away, and my grandma was one of the first people in line to get her money out of the Farmers National Bank in Albia, Iowa. And she got it out, and I remember still to this day standing there and asking my mom and my grandma what the hell is going on. Why is this happening? What's going on? You could see the panic. the farmers went for blocks, right, from all around that part of Iowa. And it just, I think that's what started the wheels turning in my head about being a contrarian thinker. You know what I mean?
There's real conspiracies, and there's real things that where people misunderstand the actual facts. Flat Earth's not. There's so much stuff. You look at micro views, the curvature of the Earth, the micro
Yeah.
it's real. Right? It's funny shit.
And I want Eddie to talk. I want to make sure he's doing
You gotta let it go like that. I'm hoping to. Right? I don't talk to him. We had a few conversations together on the podcast. Initially, he thought it was stupid. He thought the flat Earth concept was stupid. And then all of a sudden, he started being open-minded. What the fuck are you saying? What the fuck are you saying? This is great. And he's like, he chose to wonder, it takes a long time to get it. That's not the same people. It takes time. That was a long fucking time ago. We're talking about people right now. There's satellites all over the world. There's a lot of people with satellites, okay? I think it is back.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I've never, and the first time I fought in the UFC, I went into the dinosaurs. I went into the production trailer at my first UFC. I wanted to see what was going on. Right? That was always intriguing how TV was put together. Right? And I was lucky enough to bring my daughter to one of our broadcasts on Access TV, and Lonnie, he's the expert to find the satellites. He's got an app on his phone. Have you ever seen guys do that?
No.
He has an app on his phone where he can punch in and do this across the sky to spot all the satellites. Right? So he knows how to dial into them, call up, the coordinates to turn the dish towards, and what kind of percentage of the satellite receptor to get it beamed back down, all that sort of stuff. So he was teaching my daughter how all that stuff was done, and it's the first time I'd ever seen it. It was pretty amazing stuff. But yeah, you can see the curvature of the Earth and how the satellites are set across the horizon.
But you can track satellites. The thing is, these guys don't even believe in satellites. Here's what the problem is. If someone has no interruption and they put together a video, and that video, they're articulate, and they sound calm, they use big words, and they show you images that they're claiming show that the Earth is flat, that there's an ice wall outside of Antarctica, that the government won't let you go there. They start saying all these things. If there's no one there, like Neil deGrasse Tyson type guy there, so hey, no, that's not true. And here's why. Here's how we know. Here's what we found out. Here's a test you can do yourself. Here's how you can figure it out. Here's what you can find online. And like for the longest time, they were trying to say that there was no full pictures of the Earth. The Earth, like every photo you see of the Earth is a composite. The fucking Japanese satellite called the Himawari 8 is a full images of the Earth, high resolution every 10 minutes. You can go Google them. You can watch them. NASA has one too. There's giant photos of the fucking Earth from 22,000 miles an hour. It's real.
Yeah.
It's fucking real. There's a lot of shit to think about that's fascinating. That's not one of them. That's been solved.
No, there's a lot. I'm into the geopolitical domestic policy. Yeah, right. That's where I was drawn more about what's really going on, behind the news, all that sort of stuff. This is bullshit. I mean, I was lucky to train a lot of law enforcement, military, high-level military, and get connected to intel guys who go, it was like,
as far as like what were you completely off guard?
Well, I can tell you what I was right about when I called up my buddy and I go, hey, 4 years ago, whatever it was, 4.5 years ago, I go, we're funding ISIS. He goes, well, yeah, made it together. Al-Nusra, ISIS, Al-Shabaab, what do you fucking think?
So why did they fund ISIS?
To take out Syria. It was obvious, right? The Mujahideen in Afghanistan was to friggin' take out the Russians. The way I looked at it was, when that was going on, funding the Mujahideen was to bankrupt Russia. Right? We wanted them to go bankrupt, and it worked. Reagan was a genius in that part. The diabolical part, of course, is Russia and America both fighting over the resources of Afghanistan.
Right.
But ISIS was just, that's some weird shit. When you have a 50,000-man army just appear out of nowhere with professional cameramen and editors and producers and directors making the high-level films that they were putting out, where it's every 3 seconds they're cutting different angles, professionally put together films of people being burned, and I go, this is too weird. This is too late.
You know what people stop talking about? You know when they blamed their God on some bullshit
Video.
Yeah, some video that someone made.
Right.
Was it like the tears of Muslims or something like that? I forget.
Nobody even knew it existed.
Nobody knew it existed. And everybody knew it was bullshit.
Right.
And they were pushing that as a narrative. Like, this is what was the motivation behind. And everybody was like, what?
Have you had Toronto on your show?
No.
Who was Toronto's overseer? Toronto. P-O-R-O-N-T-A. His last name's Toronto. But I think he's a former SEAL. There were several SEALs, obviously, that ran to try and help the ambassador and some of the other guys. Toronto lived through it. But when he talks about it, they're moving massive amounts of weapons through Libya, into Syria, into other places in the Middle East, right? It's just a fact that it's happening. And that whole thing going down, I think, was a way for them to just cover it all up and remove and erase any people that knew it. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it spells out to me pretty obvious. Because it's documented. It's all documented that weapons were being moved. And if you look at arsenal weapons manufacturing in Bulgaria. So Juliana Gotacheva, who I had on my podcast, the conspiracy, she was the Bulgarian reporter that got fired.
I didn't know you had a podcast.
Yeah, it's called the conspiracy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
We don't start the conspiracies, we just add the law. But I
like the name.
Yeah, my co-host Jeffrey Wilson, he's a really bright guy. Cool,
Great
dude.
name.
Yeah, so we have fun with it.
T-shirts? Can I wear conspiracy?
Dude, I was going to bring you one, and like, he said, ship me one soon. I will. Yes. So it's a barn with a, it's a barn with a satellite and a satellite dish down next to it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So that's it, right?
And you're doing it out of Iowa?
Oh yeah. That's right. But arsenal weapons manufacturer, she exposed the ISIS fighters took her to their weapons caches, and there was massive amounts of artillery rounds, depleted uranium stuff, small arms stuff, and it was all arsenal weapons, Bulgarian weapons, right? And she got fired for exposing it. Now, at the same time, Silver Airlines, who is a Azerbaijani airline, their manifest got exposed by Bulgarian Anonymous, with manifests of all the white phosphorus weapons, the depleted uranium, artillery rounds, all these shipments, massive shipments, going into Turkey, going into Libya, going into the Ukraine, right? Where a bunch of shit was going down there. And every one of those places, who showed up to broker the deal? John McCain. John McCain, right? And look, we can't prove it, but there's people telling me that potentially there's an offshore company that owns a big percentage of arsenal weapons manufacturing in Bulgaria, right? So that's the kind of stuff I'm going in. Right? I'm into. Who's causing it? Why are they causing it? The truth. I'm just a truth seeker, right? But you seem like that kind of guy.
For sure. Don't you think that stuff is exposed at a level that's never been possible before because of the internet?
Yeah.
And that these people are probably used to operating in a certain way that they've been doing for decades, and now they're having to adjust.
Yeah. Well,
here are the final results for the second 450 meet race. The first four riders will have the opportunity to move on directly to the main event, while the rest of the field will be back on the track soon, battling it out in the semis.
I'm a Rand Paul guy. Rand Paul shirt on. Right? A Ron Paul guy.
Gotta teach them takedown defense.
Off of a lawnmower, right?
See, he got blindsided in his defense, right?
Yeah, but
What was that about? His neighbor attacked him?
His neighbor's a lunatic. Right?
Yeah, good times.
But
it's a risky thing to do. Live right next to the guy and attack him?
Right.
You're fucking burning the bridge.
I don't know what kind of sentence that guy got. I haven't kept up on that. But I was given
sentence yet.
During the presidential run, I was giving speeches for Rand Paul, a couple of them, to introduce him. So I'd give a speech, then bring him out, and I got to know him a little bit better.
Is this in Iowa?
Yeah. Amazing dude. We had great conversations.
I'm a big fan of his dad.
Yeah. So, but the people that are yelling the most now about Trump and all the other stuff, you wonder what they're guilty of. Right? The deep state is just, it is a way of doing business, right? There's smash and grab, there's pay to play. Smash and grab is me, somebody who's very powerful in the government, going after an industry, crushing it, ruining its stock, and then my buddies buy the company, right? When the stock collapses and then bring it back up, like the GI Bill for University of Memphis. We go after it. No longer will there be any GI Bill money put toward that. The stock goes from $100 down to $3. Obama's buddy goes in and buys it. Then they go, we're going to allow GI money to go back into it and stuff like that, right? That's the kind of shit that's going on. It's some bad stuff. We just do our best to follow it, educate people, and we have a lot of people who say you're a nut. You're wearing a tinfoil hat.
What were you just talking about, Cheney? About something that you'd seen about politicians being exempt from insider trading rules?
Someone on Twitter, I'll find him later. This guy, he told me about this guy. His name's Peter Schleifer. He's a Stanford professor.
Secret Empires. That's the book. That's the book you want to. He wrote Clinton Cash also.
Yeah, there's another book that he hit me up about. Yeah, but this is the one that he just.
Have you had him on your show?
No, I have not.
That's a guy to have on your
Okay,
show.
I would love to have him on.
Yeah.
How the American political class hides corruption and enriches family and friends. Yeah,
It's
without
insane.
a doubt, that shit's real.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, that shit's going on. I mean, look, we were just talking about this recently about how half of what it is to be president is to get yourself in a position where after you're out, you can make these crazy speeches for these bankers. Like,
Right.
why is that? Like, I mean, it's almost like a
Man, I tell you what, there was a time when a good friend of mine who was an agent for me at the time got me involved because of all the years in MMA and martial arts. I've met people from all over the world who had eventually moved into positions of power in government or cities or this or that. And so they said, we want you to help us get a foot in the door to sell waste-to-energy projects. So it was basically a facility that burns anything garbage. I mean, you can burn tires, anything, at low oxygen levels, so the emissions are very low, but it generates electricity, right? And in Europe, it was everybody from the city, that country, and the European Union, everybody wanted a piece of the project, right? That's just the way they do business in Europe, in South America, and other places like that. They have to have a different model for it here, for the corruption, right? They just do things differently here, and that's just the way it is. They've made adjustments, and either way, they're going to find their way around.
Yeah, the idea that there's no corruption is ridiculous, right? No one thinks that. So it's how much corruption is there, and how many people are out there exposing it and putting their neck out there to expose it. That's a big part of the problem, because if you really know about it, it means you're probably entrenched in the system too.
Yeah, and the cognitive dissonance of the citizenry, of knowing that Hillary Clinton and a few other people sold, the document just came out. It was 15 million kilograms. 15 million kilograms of depleted uranium, yellow cake, right? Sold to the Russians. At what point in any part of a discussion on any planet is it okay to sell your enemy 15 million kilograms of friggin' uranium?
What was the justification behind it? Have they agreed that this is a fact? And this is
It's a fact. It's a
have they
fact.
agreed? I mean, is there any dispute that this is a fact?
No, there is no. No, but they sit there and use the excuse. Well, there was 8 other people that had to sign off on this, right? Right. But suddenly that company invests $145 million in the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah, that's a big problem. That Clinton Foundation is fucking insane. And all these people that were blind supporters of Hillary didn't look at that. Like,
Supercross has traveled north of the border to Racing Canada. The roar of the crowd is building inside the Roger Center. Listen to that crowd. He is definitely the favorite. Let's see if he can capitalize on that energy and get the win.
I wonder how many people are actually reading. I feel like they think that there's always going to be a certain amount of that stuff out there, and they just tolerate it, and they just, as long as it's not really fucking up their business, because it's not. The politicians are still allowing it, law enforcement's still allowing it, no one's really going after them. It makes you wonder, like, if Hillary had actually gotten into the White House, and she faced the same scrutiny that Trump is facing right now over the Russian.
Which we know none of this would be uncovered had she won. Right? We know that.
Right, yeah.
All of this stuff would have been swept under the rug.
Yeah, most likely.
All this stuff with McCabe and Strzok and Page and Comey and all these people of going out of their way to try and derail Trump, to get these FISA court friggin' surveillance friggin' warrants to spy on a president-elect and then a city president? Are you kidding me? At what point are people not charged with treason for that? Right? When they were doing this spying before he ever won the presidency. Don't you think that if he was doing something wrong with the Russians, they would have friggin' made it mainstream news and busted him for it?
Yeah, there's for sure some dummies in his staff that made some inappropriate meetings and had some. I mean, they definitely had some intentions.
Well,
but they had something on him.
The way I look at it is this. I mean, if you win the presidency, I'm going to send whoever is underneath me. If I'm the president, we have to have meetings with diplomats from other countries to make the transition. That's part of the deal, right? It really is. That goes on. That's just the way it is.
Right, but that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about before the presidency. They're talking about having meetings with Russians long before.
Right.
Where they're planning this whole thing out. But
They got nothing.
They're all dirty.
They got nothing. They got nothing. I
I
mean,
mean, if they had something, it would be out there. You know?
it's that projection and diversion and everything else because, the Podestas were doing lobbying for the biggest friggin' Russian bank in the world. Right? In Washington, D.C. That never comes up.
It's almost like there's too many things to pay attention to.
It's like they did everything. They just, how do you keep up?
Yeah.
How do you corral it all the
everything.
corruption?
From the stock market to natural resources to everything.
Right.
It's all just too many things to pay attention to.
Yeah. It's mind-boggling. It's like a giant room full of spaghetti.
Yeah.
And you're in the middle of it. Just doing this. It's fucking insane.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
That is what it's like. Yeah.
It does that to your brain when you try to comprehend all of it. When we do shows and we talk about this stuff, it's mind-boggling.
How many episodes have you done?
We've only done like 50 so far. But we've got listeners in 130 countries, so we're doing pretty good. That's nice. We're excited.
Well, you'll get more now.
Yeah,
For sure.
well, because you're kicking ass. Thank you.
Well, promoting it here, right here. Conspiracy Farm. Go download it. Check it out. So when you started this out, what was the intention? Just something you're interested in?
I did Jeffrey's podcast. It's me speaking to you, and at the very end of it, it was 3 conspiracy questions, true or false, right?
Okay.
And I said, can I elaborate on it? Because it might be something that I've actually researched. He goes, yeah, sure. So at the end of it, he asked me, I forget what the questions were, but after we were done, I go, hey, I've always wanted to do this podcast, and I want to call it The Conspiracy Farm, and I want to talk about geopolitical, domestic policy stuff, and he goes, I love it. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, absolutely. So we've had great guests, a couple Navy SEALs, former Spetsnaz, terrorist hunter.
Well, if you're going to do Sam Tripoli's podcast, Tinfoil Hat, just understand there's a different kind of conspiracy theory podcast. It's like, is Bigfoot psychic? Like those kind of questions.
Oh, dear God.
And expect to get a contact high from the room.
I've always wanted to ask you about the George St. Pierre stuff with UFOs.
I think it's head trauma.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Or did he have sex with a hot green chick?
Maybe did. But if I had to guess, the way he was describing things is very similar to the way people describe things when they experience excessive head trauma.
Really?
Yeah, because he misses time. His memory's not good.
Right.
Like he'll get home and then he'll have groceries that he bought and left in his trunk and not even realize it. And he'll go out to his trunk and they're rotten. And he's like, I don't even remember going to the store.
Wow.
The alien.
Wow.
So I think he's got this idea that these glitches in his mind.
Yeah.
It's not a fucking coincidence that the guy got punched in the head. I think they did a stat before the Bisping fight. I think it was more than 800 times he got hit in the head in his UFC career. Forget about all the gym training.
Sparring,
Forget about all the other stuff.
Right.
And forget about the fights outside the UFC that he had before he got into the UFC. When he was in TKO, remember?
Yeah.
So he's experienced a lot of head trauma. One of the symptoms of head trauma is memory loss issues.
Yeah.
I mean...
And Hendricks hit him hard, a lot.
Yes, he did. Yeah, and he's only one guy that hit him hard. I mean, a lot of guys hit him hard.
Yeah.
Matt Serra scrambled his fucking brain.
Right.
And a lot of guys hit him hard.
Yeah.
And that's just outside of sparring. That's outside of everything else he's done. Sparring with Rory McDonald and Wonder Boy and all the other guys that he had to spar with.
Yeah.
I think that's most likely what it is.
Okay.
The people who've experienced a lot of head trauma, that's one of the real problems with it.
Yeah.
What does the dude from the Chicago Bears, that famous guy?
The
Quarterback from the Bears.
Oh, McMahon?
Yes. McMahon was on the cover of Sports Illustrated talking about it.
Yeah.
But he'd be in the middle of his living room holding his keys. He had no idea how his keys got in his hand, doesn't know where he's going.
Wow.
Where am I going? Why am I standing there holding my keys? You just forget stuff.
Scary.
Yeah, there's
Really scary.
connections.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's so impressive that you, with your long fight career, you kickboxed, you boxed, you have a lot of MMA fights.
I think I learned early on with kickboxing and boxing. I looked at the older guys and listened to them talk and went, I don't want to be that guy. So I started paying attention to defense. I started watching films on great boxers with great defense, footwork, head movement, you know, all that sort of stuff, and just. And it was the key. I never got hit with anything I didn't see.
I think you have sturdy genes too. You have them Croatian genes.
It helps. I'm sure it helps. I'm the smallest Croatian on the planet. Like when you run into Croatians, they're all huge. Like
Stipe Prokop type characters.
Stipe Miocic,
Right.
who's a bear of a human being, right?
Yeah.
Super. But that's just. Have you ever seen the Olympic water polo team from Croatia?
No.
The scariest dudes on the planet. They're all massive 6'8" guys that just would drown you.
What happened to you? There was a time where someone claimed that you had neck surgery and you didn't. Like a doctor said something about it.
I was training for a fight with Frank Trigg outside of the UFC. It was the first round warming up, and I get hit with a left hook and my neck crunched. And my left arm dropped and I wasn't working. This
Just wouldn't lift at all?
It was dead.
Like you couldn't move your hand?
No, it was dead.
Wow.
So
how long did that last?
It was, well, here, I'll tell you. That was the end of the first round. I cracked it. And I go, all right, let's pick it up the second round. And I hit him with 4 or 5 right hands in a row because that's all I could do. And I crushed his nose and he had to have surgery because I was so pissed off because he blasted him, right? And I don't think it was necessarily malicious, but we were still warming up and he cranked my left hook on him. It was bad. So over time, everything started to atrophy on this side of the body. Everything started falling apart. It was very painful. And I went to a neurosurgeon, got an MRI. The neurosurgeon goes, oof. He goes, your disc exploded into your spinal cord and almost severed it against the other side of your spinal canal. And he goes, to make things worse, you have so much stenosis, there's no fluid in it. There's no spinal canal. It's all scar tissue crushing your spinal cord everywhere, cervically, right? So this was bound to happen. Over all the years of abuse, people wrenching on your neck, punching you, and everything else, it just eventually gave way. So he said, you have to have surgery. You're Christopher Reeves if you don't. You fall off a ladder, you're done. You have to have surgery. And I said, no, I'm not going to do it. Talked to another neurosurgeon. He said the same thing. And I talked to my cousin at Johns Hopkins, and he goes, you're truly a moron. You have to have surgery. And I said, fuck it, I'm not going to do it.
So 3 guys tell you, 3 medical experts.
So I rehabbed, and I got this to come back.
How'd you do it?
There was some neural work by a guy at Palmer College of Chiropractic, which is in Davenport. He's Juring is his name, Dr. Dave Juring. He's the best athlete to ever come out of Iowa. He's a genius when it comes to rebuilding the human body. He was the strength and conditioning guy for U.S. Olympic team for some of the sports, and then was also on the bobsled team. The guy was a freak.
So what kind of stuff did he do? Decompressions?
But he put me in weird positions on a table.
The 30-second board is
and they would block
up. Keep it up.
the pressure points and stop certain nerves from working, all this other stuff, on top of it to move certain parts of the body. Trying to get this rerouting of the nervous system and got things going again. And rebuilt me, and I got to where this was back to 100%. It happened one other time where this side, and this arm's 2 inches smaller than this one.
Yeah, I could see it.
And my shoulder is gone here quite a bit. There's some things I just can't do. I mean, I can still do pull-ups and a bunch of other stuff. There's just things I can't do.
I was wondering if my mind was playing tricks on me.
No, it's
your right arm looks smaller.
Boss went through the same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
And this is in your neck right now?
Well, see, my vertebrae are fused together on their own. They wanted to fuse them with
What?
chunks
They
of bone.
fused together on their own?
Yeah, so the surgery that they wanted to do to fuse my vertebrae together, my body did it on its own. Right?
I've never even heard of such a thing.
Oh yeah. Long enough that the disc is destroyed and dissolves and it just all grows together, so my vertebrae grew together on their own.
So that's one of the craziest things I've ever heard.
Right, so I just have to be careful.
Just listening to you.
I just have to be careful. Because I've been paralyzed
Get
twice.
ready.
Yeah.
The gate is about to drop. Here we go.
From Jesse Lennox, I was fighting Jesse. Before my last fight with Thomas Miller. And he put me in an uppercut, looked me apart with the whiplash, shut everything down for 3 hours. And I dragged off the body. And then I feel back. I knew that it was really bad. Here. And everything shut down. Did I go over the uppercut? No, this was somebody's heavy, but one came down on the barrel. But the uppercut was right to the face. So when we got to the standing fight, it just said, he's not a powerhouse puncher by any means. But I can't get hit at all, so I just danced around with him for 5 minutes. It's amazing the sense of urgency you get when you know you're I wish I would have thought like that. I didn't really have a good game. Right. Yeah. So I'm just glad my neck gave out the football.
So your neck now,
I have to be careful. I still have to be careful.
have you ever thought about getting one of those artificial discs? They do that.
At this point, they would have to saw my vertebrae apart and put them
I've
in.
never heard of them healing up like that. Where they seal together on their own.
It does happen. It does happen.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy. So will your right arm come back to a normal size?
It's been like this for years now.
Wow.
So I did tons of rehab. This was...
How long ago did this happen?
Well, when I was training for the Frank Trigg fight, when it first happened, I don't even remember. Again, it's just like
Right.
dates are just... Think of how many fights you've called,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do you remember certain years of like any fight I could name? Or could you pull it? I see you as kind of a guy with a photographic memory. So you're
I have
you're
a
pretty
memory
sharp.
for things that are interesting.
You're pretty sharp.
But if
with
you
shit like
ask
that.
my wife, she's like, this motherfucker doesn't remember shit. I have a very selective memory.
Right.
But with fights, I have a particularly good memory.
Everything to me, because of fighting for all those years, coaching for all those years, and doing
Right.
commentary for all those years,
a
it's
blur.
one big mess of just fights. Like I'll remember
Right.
the Hughes Trigg fights forever.
Right, sure.
I'll remember, Tim winning the title.
Right.
I'll remember that sort of stuff. But everything else is honestly, or like a Jason Black who's in a war with a guy from American Top Team, and he comes back and he sits on the stool. Some of the funniest shit I've ever seen was in fights, right? You've seen it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you might have even been calling the fight. Jason Black sits down, and it's been a war for 2 rounds of just insanity. And Jason Black was a great wrestler, just tough as nails kind of guy. And I go, Jason, dude, stop boxing with this guy. Let's go out. Let's take him down. Let's get him on his back. Let's keep him there. Let's rough him up. And let's win this round, and we win the fight, and we get out of here. And he's doing this while I'm talking to him. He's just looking around at the crowd, kind of like this. And I go, Jason, fucking look at me. And he looks at me, and he goes, yeah. And I go, what did I just tell you to do? And he goes, go out and dance with him. And the Fertitta brothers are right there. And Dana, they start laughing their asses off. And I go, whatever, go out and do what you want to do. So he went out. It turned into a brawl. He ended up losing the fight.
Jason is one of the guys, the first guys that I saw cut weight to the point where I was like, okay, he might die. When he went to 55, he was a fucking anatomy lesson. You remember?
Yeah.
I mean, sure you remember. When he went to
weight cut.
55, that motherfucker had 0 fat.
Right.
It was crazy.
And he was really a strong guy. I mean, if he got head position...
Underappreciated.
Yeah.
Underappreciated.
Yeah, one of the toughest
Yeah.
guys I've ever been around.
I feel like he was a tweener, like maybe a little too big for 70 or 55.
Too small for 70.
And too small for 70.
Yeah.
I
It was
think
a
there's
rough
been
deal.
a few guys like that
Yeah.
that were like, real world-class fighters, but the reality of those 70s is you're dealing with guys that are cutting from 205 and up.
Yeah.
And the reality of the 55s is that, like, that's a fucking horrible strain for your body.
Right.
When
No, I
you-
remember, seeing guys cut weight and be in a lot of trouble physically, right?
Yeah.
But our thing was always make weight no matter what. I mean, that's just the way it was. I think I had one guy that didn't make weight for a fight in the IFL, and he got one. Right. He just got one just because everybody was so pissed that he didn't make weight. Right. I've seen some horrible weight cuts with people that I had a weight cut where it was in New Jersey. The weigh-ins were the day of the fight. Which fight was it? Shorty fought Continental Airlines. The weigh-ins were the day of the fight. That morning. Why? Just the way it was. And the way it broke down, the way it all went down was I had a new gym, a Gold's Gym, built a brand new house, had a brand new baby, and I had to win the fight to have enough money to down payment. Oh, gee. They're already built. There's something. So I'm cutting weight. And I've been so busy that I wasn't paying enough attention to my weight, and I was struggling. So the whole night, I stayed awake the whole night. All I thought about was, I know I can beat this guy, so it's not going to beat me. But if he headbutts me, for whatever reason, don't win the fight, lose that money, I lose my house, and they got to start paying the weight. So when you're cutting weight like that, everything's magnified 100 times. Just the fear of doing this. And all I thought about was that, water, and egg white, or scrambled eggs, all night, the whole night. And by the time it was time to weigh in, I went and knocked on Matt Hughes and Judge Porter's door, and I'm in some serious trouble right now. Because I suffered ice cubes all night, and I gained like 2 pounds or more, so I had to go cut again. What? So, just from sucking ice cubes. Ice cube pounds? I guess, yeah, because I didn't even know where I was at. I was losing my mind. So I did that all night, and then, so I made weight, and then I went back to my hotel room and I started clamping everything. I had to tie my wrestling shoes on as tight as I could possibly tie them. so my feet wouldn't bend like this. And then my calves started cramping. Everything cramped to the point where I was curled up in a fetal position. And I knew I had to fight that night. Right? So I couldn't see right. There was a bunch of stuff going wrong with my body. So I called up Monty Cox in his room, and I go, you got to get somebody to take me to the hospital to get IVs, or this shit's not happening. He goes, all right, I'm sending Tom Sauer, right? So you remember Tom Sauer?
Yes.
So Tom Sauer comes to get me, and everybody who knows Tom knows he had really severe Tourette's, right? Really severe Tourette's. Like if he's around black people, the N-word's getting yelled constantly, right? Yeah, he's around women, he's yelling hunt, whore, bitch, right, the whole time, really loud. So anyway, he comes and gets me, takes me to the hospital. We're walking up to the hospital in New Jersey. The whole hospital is all glass windows. Everybody that works in the hospital is black.
Oh, no!
Now imagine the kind of situation I'm in mentally and physically, and I stop and I put my hand on his chest and I go, Tom, you cannot go in here with me. Oh my God, you're going to yell the N-word a million times. They're going to kick us out. I'm not going to get my IVs.
Right.
I'm not going to be able to fight. I'm going to lose my house. I was like, I was losing my mind. Right? And he goes, no, it's okay. Chirp, right? And he goes, it's fine. He goes, I'm a Dade County paramedic. He goes, I deal with this constantly. It's okay. So we walk in, we go up to the nurse at the reception desk, and he goes, hey, he goes, my friend, click, N-word.
Oh, no.
And she looks at him and goes, say what? And he goes, I have Tourette's, I have severe Tourette's, please don't. He goes, my friend needs an IV bottle. And she looks at me and goes, oh, shit, I look that bad. My eyes were way back in my head. I was in a rough shape. So they gave me 3 liters of saline.
3 liters?
Yeah. Revived me enough.
They got like a 2-liter Pepsi.
That was 3 of those.
Another one.
3 of those.
Wow.
3
1 liters.
Yeah. And so they revived me enough. I was still seeing double when it came fight time. And so the first round I just took Shoney down. I threw him, took him down, stayed mounted on him the whole first round. To give him to wear himself out. Right. Just hit him with punches, elbows, just stuff. Just not going overboard. Right. But I wanted him to be tired going into the second round.
How to minister you in this state? Bad. Like how?
Maybe, yeah. So the second round, I just went, okay, now I got to end it. So I head kicked. I remember that. And I just went, I made it out of that with the skin of the team. So it's just, weight cutting can be very extreme. Yeah, really good. But we always believe that you have to make weight. You sign your name, and that's why I get so pissed off and disgusted when people don't make weight.
Yeah, well, it's a lack of discipline, for sure. Unless it's not physically possible for you to make the weight, like if you're a heavyweight and you want to make lightweight, that's not physically possible.
Right.
So then don't sign.
And it's a lack of commitment. See, that's the thing that I'm disgusted most with, is that people aren't committed to what they do. Right? You obviously committed to what you do, and you're very good at the things that you do. Right? It is. It's obvious. You're obviously a talented guy, but you work at your craft. Right? You know, there came a time where I had to leave college to go and take care of my ailing mother, and I had to work 3 jobs, and realized sitting in the basement that I was raised in, every time it rained, it flooded. My feet were in water. I woke up one day, and I was doing, I started out fighting, and I said, this is it. I want to go title. I want to get some time. And I loaded a 9mm pistol. And I put it around in the chamber, and I put it in my sock drawer, and I said, if I don't want a roll title, my gun's going in my mouth. This is it, right? So every time I fought, I thought about my gun in my sock drawer. And that's commitment. That's what was needed for me to succeed at that point. That's the way. So when I see people when they're talented and they're not committed, I don't have anything to do with it. I just don't. I don't have time for people like that. I'll take the guy who's committed and sucks and train him every day because I love his commitment.
Well, there's some guys that just make some real critical errors, but they're incredibly talented. Like, remember that you know, this fight between Ferguson, right? Literally, his body was shutting down. They had to take him to the hospital. All kinds of preparation. He should have he should have gotten lighter beforehand. Should have watched his diet. Now he has a nutritionist and they weigh pretty easy for his last fight with Barboza.
But he has a muscle.
He's a muscle. But, you know, Askren had a real good point. What they do with 1FC, I think, is the way to do it. You know, with 1FC, they test you. They have a hydration test. And they test you, and whatever weight the champions are, they just bump everybody up a notch. They bump him up to 185. There's no cutting weight here. And I think that's just an unfortunate part of martial arts. It's this weight cutting shit.
That's what wrestling is.
Yeah.
They complain about the fighters cutting weight. That's for 3-4 times a year. Really? That's not that hard.
Right.
Try cutting weight your entire life as a wrestling season, and when you wrestle during the winter, then spring, summer for freestyle and drag.
Right.
You know, that was probably the thing that made me so small compared to my brothers. They were all 6'4", 6'5".
Sure.
Is I cut weight from 6th grade all the way through high school and into college and then fight. Right? So during my growing years, though, I was starving. Right. That's just the way it was.
Yeah.
So it stunted my growth or something.
I'm sure. Yeah, I knew a lot of guys from wrestling who like that. The pros are very, very small. But I think that it's just unnecessary. When you deal with professional athletes at the highest level, I think they should just cut it out. I think they should implement
Just
the
never
1FC.
Everybody's going to look at that edge, right?
1FC. If they think the 1FC rules, they test you 3 times.
Yeah.
They test your weight, they get a base weight off of you, they get hydration
As long
levels.
as everybody has to follow that same.
Yeah, of course. Everybody has to follow the USADA rules. I think the rules, like in reference to guys using performance-enhancing drugs, it's just as critical to keep guys from fighting dehydrated.
I mean, obviously, there's risks.
Yeah.
If I get dehydrated, if you saw which boxing match was it? That little time dude got was it, who fought Ward 3 times in the wars? Mickey Ward. And
Arturo Gotti fought
a little
Camacho.
Yeah, and
No, what is not Camacho?
Camacho.
Joe Camacho? It was fucking his name. Kid the name. What's the name?
but he wrecked.
Yeah.
He destroyed it because he was
He was
lost.
so much bigger.
Yeah. So many other heroes stopped. So
But look at Arturo Gotti's professional record. I remember that his name was Joe, his Lewiston name, he was a talented guy.
Yeah.
And Arturo Gotti looked like he was 2 weight classes bigger than him. He fought him hard. Yeah. Okay. If you got to pee, go ahead. He's writing it down. Well, what do you got here?
You just added
go
it?
way back. No, we're live. Joe Gamache.
I needed a bucket.
Joey Gamache. That's who it was.
Yeah.
Joey Gamache. I remember that. That was horrific. That was 2000. Man, time flies. How crazy. Pat Miletich. Tough guy. Can't hold his piss. Now we know. That's probably why I had a hard time cutting weight. That doesn't make any sense. Pull that fight up. I want to see that fight. Mickey, Arturo Gotti, Joey Gamache. That was a disturbing one. The thing is, like, you see so many of those kind of KOs in MMA. It makes you realize, yeah, Arturo Gotti was just far bigger than him in this fight. And he's also, this is Arturo Gotti, who's really world class too at the top of the game. Well, no, he was killed by his girlfriend. He was killed by his girlfriend. She got away with it with his wife. His wife was this Brazilian chick. And she got out of jail. When she got out of jail, she was smiling. It was really disturbing. It was real bad. Like, they think that there was some severe, they think there's some severe corruption involved in her acquittal. She got acquitted in Brazil. And they said that he committed suicide. But he had some sort of blunt force trauma on his head. It was a big deal. It was very sad for a lot of people that were Arturo Gotti fans because his fights with Mickey Ward were, his fights with guys are matched perfectly, where it's like their skill level. We're talking about Arturo Gotti and Mickey Ward, how Gotti was killed by his girlfriend for his wife, right? And acquitted. She was acquitted. It was like pretty obvious it's a murder. He passed it off as a suicide, and then
Because of domestic or something?
no, she fucking killed him, man. And when she got out of jail, she was smiling. She was like taking pictures of her leaving jail. They think it was just a Brazil job. Corruption in Brazil is bad. I mean, they tried to get her fucking president, right?
They were just stealing money.
Yeah, right. There's some severe corruption in Brazil, apparently. In this case, most people think that she killed him. She probably killed him.
To get an understanding, too, of the Brazilian people, you have to read a book called Supercross. You ever heard of that book?
I saw the City of God.
Yeah.
You want to understand fucking Brazilian? Watch that movie, City of God. Holy shit. Yeah, tell me what's going on.
So El Chaguera was a book about Sasha and Rick Simmel, 2 Russians who had injuries, who went to Brazil around 1920, 1921 during the Diamond Age, right? And this is when, ironically, I think when the Gracies started learning jiu-jitsu, right? About the same
era.
So Ernst and Sasha Silla both were tough wrestling guys and boxers, just tough Russians. We know how tough Russians are. So anyway, they are working their way through Brazil, through the Mato Grosso, stopping ranches and towns, fixing guns, because the Brazilians didn't want to fix their guns, to pay their way further in as they were getting towards the rivers and all that sort of stuff, and to find diamonds. That was the thing. But during all of this, Sasha Son was fighting no-holds-barred fights against Paraguayan strongmen and all this sort of stuff in the ring, and then he became a guy who was what's called a tabuero, a guy who can use a spear and kill one of the big cats in the jungle back then. He was killing the cattle, killing the ranch hands, all this sort of stuff. These are 400-pound cats, right? These are big, scary panthers in the jungle. So he went and sought out and found a Indian, a Brazilian Indian, who was supposedly a tabuero, the expert. And he found this guy, the guy's just drunk, just completely drunk. He goes, I want you to take me and teach me how to do this. And so they go, and he goes, working. And he goes, they run across a big cat. What these cats would do is, riflemen on horses would go track the cat. The cats would double back on him, take him off the horse and track him. So they would kill him right. So these cats were trying. So this guy taught him, though, he watched this guy drunk kill a 400-pound cat with a spear. And then he taught him how they would sit on the paws, whether they would high to attack you, whether they would come low, how to position the spear, all that sort of stuff. So Sasha Sella became a white guy who killed 33 big cats in the ranches. Yeah, spear? Yeah, it's the coolest, but you couldn't write it any better. But to tell you about the Brazilian mindset, there was a guy in one of the gunsmith, blacksmith shops where they were fixing guns for people, that this one Brazilian had an attitude, and Sasha insulted him in front of a friend. So this guy, then, once you insult a Brazilian back in those days especially, they have to kill you because you disrespect them so badly. And that's just how more people do it. You've been around enough Brazilians, they're a couple of people, and they silver, and they're using temper, and it's pretty scary too. So this guy tracks him for a while, and then they hire a guy that's the sheriff of Pacifica, who has a necklace of human ears. He brings back the ears of the person he paid to kill, and that's how he got paid. Right? So he had a necklace of human ears, and he was hunting Sasha in the It's the coolest book you've ever read. It's incredible. Tabuero. T-I-G-R-E-R-O. But it's a rare book. T-I-G-R-E-R-O. It's a rare book. It's hard to find. And John Wayne was going to make a movie about it. But they couldn't do the movie. They were going to do the 50s or whatever it was. But they couldn't because the Amazon was still too dangerous. There's cameras everywhere and stuff. There's actually a documentary about going there to do the site surveys and all that sort of stuff.
Do you have malaria in South America?
Malaria is in the Amazon, in the Amazon and stuff like that. I'm sure you have that.
But yeah, the chemicals, that's like what got that explorer, the huge explorer, the Lost City of Z, right?
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, the Lost City of Z is a book that they came to read a couple of years ago about this guy. It turned out that what he had discovered has now been proven that there was some ancient systems there, some ancient
Civilization.
Yeah, civilization, but also irrigation systems. And they figured out that they had all these roads and stuff because of satellite imagery. There's been some new technology where they can look through the bushes and all the jungle foliage and stuff and see
structures and roads and everything. Well, you threw this dude. That's it. Yeah, there he is. Is that a spear right next to him? There's pictures of him. I don't have a spear down there. But there's pictures of him with spears going up against cats, too.
Jesus Christ, dude.
He was hardcore, man. He was hardcore.
Yeah, there's a spear. That's a spear. That's a fucking animal. Jesus Christ, that's so crazy.
Yeah, think about that. I spoke to his son. I was writing a screenplay on his life. And I talked to his son, Sasha Jr., about it. And he eventually just didn't want to do the life right stuff.
That's the hate thing for John Watts. Did you know mountain lions delicious?
Is it?
A lot of people consider it their favorite food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I didn't even eat it, but it's apparently a more delicious version of pork. Yeah, it's supposed to be fantastic. Mountain Lion one, back one, back to back, mountain one, yeah.
There's things I'll eat, things I won't. I don't know if I can eat a predator.
I eat the fuck out of the mountain lion.
Yeah?
I like that. Yeah. Mine killed my dog.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen two of them. I saw that one, and I saw one of them myself. I was actually driving through Montecito, a really nice neighborhood, and I saw this thing run across the road. And I first I thought it was a coyote, and then I saw the tail. And I went, oh shit, that's a cat.
Wow.
And I realized it
Was
was
it a big cat?
Not that big.
No.
Like 50, 60 pounds.
Because there's some
maybe
big
70.
ones. There's obviously some massive
there's
ones
some
out there.
Fucking giant ones.
Yeah.
Colorado's got some fucking whoppers.
And the coyotes where I live, they're everywhere.
You ever see the picture of the one? We're supposed to get that. Whatever happened with that? The one, the Hollywood sign with the cat with the. We're supposed to buy it. I need to get it.
I found the place to get it.
Yeah. Let me revisit that and buy that thing. Because there's an iconic photo to me that just symbolizes our intrusion into the wild world, consequences of it. There's an enormous cat that lives in the Hollywood Hills.
Okay.
And there's a photo of him. This is taken by camera trap. This is a real photo of this fucking cat.
Oh, they've got him tagged. They've got the collar on it.
They got collar on him.
Holy shit.
They know the cat. I had I forget the guy's name. The gentleman that we talked about the other day that was the ranger. Was explaining to us how they do it. They have to dart this fucker every couple of years when the
Change the
collar
batteries.
goes dead. Yeah. So every couple of years, this guy goes into fucking dreamland like George St. Pierre, and I lost the time, and comes back. Oh, there's him with a deer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's like digging a hole, I guess.
No, the coyotes are ruthless where I live, man. They're everywhere.
Oh, they're fucking everywhere. One killed my chicken just 2 days ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was out in the backyard, so the cunt jump on the roof of the chicken coop and then jump over the top of the fence.
Ah.
They're so graceful, though.
They're smart.
It's so smart, man.
One of my good buddies who he sold his company to Oregon, so he was an expert at getting rid of deer, getting rid of coyotes, getting rid of anything off your property, getting rid of raccoons out of your house, whatever. He's the guy that started trapping when he was 10 years old. Some of my buddies did that, and he was one of them. But he became the expert, sold his company to Oregon for a lot of money. But he is the first and foremost guy, besides one other guy, worldwide, that is the expert in trapping coyotes. When he explains it to you, you sit there and go, "That's smart." I think if there's anything out of this, they never take the same way back to the They always go a different route. They're smart about covering their tracks. And to trap them, because if you do one thing, they recognize it. So he had to go and study research.
It's a great book by Dan Flores. It's called Coyote America, and Dan is a professor at a university in New Mexico. He's from New Mexico. Genius guy, but he went into great detail about how intelligent these fucking things are, about how Native Americans just think they were gods, that they were tricksters, and they're basically wolves. They're small wolf creatures. Yeah. They're just a nature
Super intelligent. My old house that I had that had some timber and stuff. I had a fox going across the creek on the hillside. The 5 west, a fox coming back to schools and rabbits. 4 or 5 and they'd be up in the that's a big problem. I got turkey vultures on there. Turkey vultures almost made it. They'd sit up there and I had a perch outside and I scream. Just shriek. I go, Jesus. And I go, what? She goes, what? And then
Is she not from around there?
no, she's from Montreal. And her first language is French. She's a city girl, all that sort of stuff.
That's the private Iowa.
Well, she was studying to be a doctor of chiropractic at Palmer, which is in Davenport, Iowa. And so, the thing is, though, I had eagles, owls, hawks, herds of deer, coyotes, all kinds of crazy stuff running through my yard constantly. And that's when I had the Mastiff, Shepherd, and some other stuff. My Mastiff I became everything.
Oh, for sure. A big ass dog like that. Iowa's that's one of the best places in the world for white-tailed people. I have a buddy now, my friend John Bentley, brought a farm. Iowa just about white-tails.
Yeah, so the Militants farm is down in southern Iowa, and my grandma on the other side, her farm is down there also. It's obviously a lot of timber also. It's the deer you see everywhere. And you know, in Beckworth, Iowa, where I live, which is right next to the Mississippi River, the deer are huge. You know, I see a deer in Texas and I look like a German Shepherd.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? It's, you know what that is? It's the corn.
Well, and the corn.
With that too.
Corn, soybeans, all that sort of stuff. They're well fed all the time. And they, dude, I hit a deer, it was a year and a half ago with my F-150, and all it was his chest hit the front of the quarter panel and scraped down it and destroyed the whole side of the car. Just destroyed it. Through that bad.
Good tanks.
Yeah.
Now imagine hitting a horse.
My dad hit a horse. Almost killed him. The vehicle caught on fire because the moose crushed into the engine compartment and caved in the front of the vehicle, and then it all caught on fire. My dad had the freak to go up and kick the back window up.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And if you honk at a moose, if you stop and then honk at a moose,
They'll kick your ass.
they'll run and smash your car. Yeah. So you just see a moose. I went on a fishing trip, one of the many fishing trips I went on in Canada with Mark Lewis, and we were in a V-bottom boat. There was 3 of us, and we were going the English River system. If you ever want to go fishing in the summer for badass fish, I mean, you'll wear out catching fish up there. It's north of Lake of the Woods, and we were going across the lake, and the English River system is massive, and it's endless amounts of islands. You can get lost real easy up there. But we were cutting across the lake, and we got into this bay, and there was a moose swimming across the bay, and, you know, the huge rack on it and everything else. And my buddy Mark was pull up next to it. I go, what? He goes, yeah, just pull up right to its ass end. So I pulled up kind of just on its ass, and he jumps out of the boat on its back.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Yeah. So he's,
oh, my God.
So he's riding on the back of the moose, and the moose is doing this to get to him. And finally he jumps off, climbs back in the boat, we turn away, and right then the moose hit shallow ground and came up. Right after. He would have been dead.
They're one of the rare deer species that almost regularly charge.
Yeah.
They cut people up all the
They
time.
run into Duluth, Minnesota, and downtown and smash it.
Yeah, they just stop people in Alaska too. And it's usually the problem is if you find a female that's with a baby, that's when you're in real trouble.
So do you hunt much?
Yeah. What do you hunt? What do you hunt? In Iowa, I hunt Iowa for whitetail last year.
Southern Iowa?
He's outside of Des Moines.
Okay.
About like 45 minutes outside of Des Moines. I hunt Utah. I shot an elk harvesting. I got another elk in Central California. I try to go as many places as possible. I'm going next month to go to Lanai for access deer.
Okay.
Mostly bow hunt. That's
Right.
Mostly
That's cool.
Yeah, I love it.
Got a hell of a bow hunting thing set up in here.
Yeah, it's pretty
Range?
badass back there. Yeah.
Sick.
45-yard indoor range.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's good. Keep practice.
The doctor that I told you about, Tyson Cobb, the orthopedic surgeon that fixed Tim's arm, he was a bow hunter who went and got crocodile in Africa, you know, big all giant game, stuff like that. And you know, the stuff that he hunted was, I mean, you know, killing a grizzly with a bow is some scary stuff.
Yeah, that's a real risky proposition.
Yeah.
A quick
but
look
he
at
did-
the
he
final
did stuff like
results
that.
Yeah.
shows how they crossed the line in the 450 main event. The top 3 riders will now be making their way to the podium for the celebration.
Yeah, it's very, very risky. Yeah, very risky. Yeah. But, you know, it's the thing about the grizzly hunting is like people don't like it. Like it's gotten to the point where in BC they've outlawed it,
Right.
and they really shouldn't.
Those
have.
3 rode
And
the
the reason being is that you got to control the population because there's nothing that beats them,
Right.
except them.
Yeah.
They're all cannibals. All grizzlies, even black bears are all cannibals. They eat the cubs all the time. And if one of them dies, like I've been black bear hunting before, and if you shoot a black bear and like maybe you shoot it like right before dark and it runs off in the bush, and you don't want to go after it, you come back in the morning, the bears are eating.
Yeah.
They eat their own.
I've just been a guy that, you know,
All the time.
I don't have time to hunt. I've gone deer hunting a couple times. I just never, you know.
Right.
I'm more of a fish. I love to fish.
I do too.
Right. So that's
What
my
kind of
thing.
fishing you do?
I'll fish for, you know, I've fished for shark off a beach before.
That's another thing that people get mad at. They get mad if you eat sharks now.
Well, we
It's a
let
new
it go.
thing.
We let it
Right.
go. You know, that's not a big deal. But I watched a guy from Black Mark's tackle company. They taught me how to do it off the beach. These guys are catching 14-foot hammerheads off the beach, dude.
Do you know one of the best places to fish for sharks, rather, is off of Catalina?
Oh, really?
Right out
For
here.
great white?
No, for Mako.
Okay.
It's like one of the best Mako shark.
Which are massive, too.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but they taught me how to do that. I love fishing for barracuda just because they're so aggressive.
It's a fun fish.
Oh my God, they're scarier than hell. As fast as they hit a lure, it's crazy.
They're crazy. Look at it.
And I love muskie, pike fishing, and bass fishing.
I was gonna say, they look like a pike on steroids.
Yeah, they are. That's what they are. They're the sea water versions. Oh yeah,
muskies are awesome.
So I went muskie fishing at the Lucudere Indian Reservation. It's the Chippewa Gorge, where the biggest muskie in the world was ever caught. Right?
Really? How big is that?
67 pounds. I don't know, but it's huge. It's huge.
Coyote-sized muskie.
But they found jaws and teeth in the muskies that are twice as size. It's just washed up on shore. So there's huge muskies still. But the guy that took me fishing, he took a job. He used to work in Vegas for the casino. Down in Vegas, I forget which one, and he left that and went back to Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin, because he wanted to muskie fish, right? So he took a job with the Lucudere Indian Reservation.
Just so he could muskie fish.
So he was the vice president of...
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Look at the size of that fucking thing.
They're terrifying.
That looks like a person. That's like a perfect-sized fish. That's less than 60 pounds?
But those will attack you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they'll attack you. They're that
I knew a dude who invented a lure. I don't know. Anyway, someone invented a lure that was a duck.
Yeah.
It was a
That's what my grandpa used to fish for with ducklings. You hook them through the tail and throw them out on top of the lake and let them swim around, and a muskie would hit them.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's how they do it.
Regularly eat ducks.
Yeah.
This guy had a lure.
Well, you can look on YouTube.
Pull it in. As you reeled it in, the paddles, the feet would move, and the muskie would think it's a real duck, and they'd jack them.
Yeah. So but the guy that was that casino guy that took me fishing.
What do you got here, Jamie?
Oh, suicide duck lure.
Oh, so
nice.
See, this is my fishing days are a long fucking time ago.
Yeah.
This is like when I was a very early teenager, like 13, 14. I was addicted to fishing. I fished constantly. I still fish. I still love it. But I'm out of the loop in terms of like that this is a regular thing. So this is a duck. Also, the duck is like he's running away, and a muskie comes and jacks.
Got to make him look panicked, right?
Yeah.
But he was the vice president of the Muskie World Association, and he took me fishing. And he goes, we have tons of muskies that we've radio tagged. He goes, but we're not going to use that. That's cheating. I know their patterns anyway.
How do you radio tag a muskie?
You just punch the thing by the dorsal fin, and it's got so they gives out a transmitter, and you can find out their patterns or whatever. But he goes, I'll take you muskie fishing tomorrow if you want to go. I said, yeah, awesome. So we go to the bait store, and he gets chubs this big. That's the bait.
So you're holding your hand out about 1.5 feet.
They're at least 12, 14-inch fish, right? Wow. That's the bait, right? And he'd hook them through by the dorsal fin. We'd go out in the boat, drop the chub straight down, then we'd go back to the island, and he had a rod holder, put the pole in there, set the drag reel light, put a bobber at the top of the line so you could see the bobber move if something was taken off with it. And we did that 4 separate times with 4 lines. And then we sat in the boat and ate sandwiches and just talked.
Welcome to the World Center of Racing.
He goes, all right, I'm going to pull up, you run and grab the pole, jump back in the boat. He goes, I'm going to maneuver you and keep you have to stay over the top of the fish. Well, muskie, trolling motor steer them, but a regular boat motor idling does not. So I'm learning a ton of stuff from this guy. And he goes, you have to, for 25 minutes, you have to let him turn that fish head first and then swallow. That's the rule. About 25 minutes it takes them to take their time until it's dead and brush it with the jaws. And just let it flip it. And then they swallow it. And so if it starts to run anytime before that, you have to transcend it. It's just a reason. Right. So, and this is my first time muskie.
So when they start chewing on them, you just leave?
Yeah, you stay over them. So the muskie will be swimming along. Yeah, so they'll be swimming along. So somebody caught that bass, and then the muskie grabs.
Right. They don't have the muskie, they just have the bass.
Right, so you got to let them turn and then set the hook when it gets the muskie. Right. But so that's what we did. In about 17 minutes, it took off and started to run. I set the hook and I caught a 52-inch muskie.
Ooh! Holy shit!
I felt like I set the hook in the wall.
Thing. 52-inch muskie. Yeah, they're pike fishing very fun. I've done that in Alberta. It's one of my favorite times. They hit hard.
Yeah, so the English River system where we used to go, if you catch a pike this long, you leave it on the hook because it thinks it's coming. Right. And the first time it happened to me, it scared the living shit out of me. Right?
So when you catch a pike that's 2 feet long, you just leave it on the hook.
Swim around up there,
and you're just hoping that.
No, you're not hoping it's coming. Really, that's coming. Yeah. So a big
this one here.
Yeah. watch this.
Fucking cannibals. Cannibals in the cold water world.
Remember Babe Winkleman, the professional fisherman?
Sure. So this one is right there.
Here it comes.
And he's just holding it over this bigger one that's underneath it. They're such a crazy animal, too. Like, pike seem prehistoric.
And they are cannibals, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Babe Winkleman, I watched a video while I was in Canada fishing. We were at the lodge, and Babe Winkleman's asking this guy who's an Indian guide. He goes, so what do pike eat? And the guy goes, pike. They eat pike. And he goes, no, what do pike eat? He goes, pike. Like, they breed so they have food. That's what they eat. It's just, they're just aggressive, mean fish.
Yeah, and they live in that dog-eat-dog cold water environment where there's 3 feet of ice above them half the time.
Right.
Yeah. Well, all those animals up there, like we're talking about bears and bears being cannibals and being fucking deer.
Yeah.
Just
Hardcore.
Yeah. When you get back out again cold, it's a tough world.
Then you go to a whole other level, you go to places like Africa and Australia.
It's hot. It's another world.
Everything's deadly in Australia. I wouldn't even want to live there.
That's right. And Green Tree. Let's get that wealthy. My friend Adam shot that over there. All the stuff over there in Australia. He keeps trying to get me to go down there. And every time he sends me pictures, spiders that can kill you, lizards that can kill you, snakes that can kill you. Yeah, everything kills.
Centipedes.
And they have these gigantic 2,000-pound buffaloes that are super hyper-aggressive. Right. They're running around.
Smash it.
But they have to kill them. That's another thing. It's like the grizzly bear. They don't have predators. Right. You know, in Alaska.
But they're herbivores, so they're kind of meant to be hunted.
Yes. No, I agree. But there's nothing to hunt them on. Right. The problem with Australia is that these are invasive species. They brought pretty much everything.
So the ranchers brought them there or something for
Someone brought them there a long time ago. New Zealand the greatest for this, because New Zealand is essentially, they set it up as a wild game park for which Europeans, right, long time ago. And so now we have these enormous stags and all these huge animals that live there, but no predators. So sometimes they have to thin the herd.
Well, they hunt. I mean, we're allowed, they made a rule in Bedford, Iowa, that within city limits you can hunt deer with a bow.
Yeah.
Within city limits, because there's just so many. You see a herd of 50 of them.
We do that in Pennsylvania too. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of places where they just get so overrun that they have what they call overhunting. People set up tree stands in their backyard.
You should, as far as the fishing goes, you should go bigger.
Noodling for the catfish? Yeah. You're gonna bite your hand? Yeah. That seems so stupid, because occasionally you fuck up and get a snapping turtle, right?
Or a beaver.
A beaver! Ooh. That's a beaver that can chew down a tree. That would do your wrist.
Oh, it would hurt. It would definitely hurt. I did it one time.
You got beaver one time? Did you get lucky?
Yeah. It was like 13. But when they snap down on your arm, it scares the shit out of you.
Oh, sure. But what's the idea that the catfish thinks you're intruding?
Or they think it's a fish.
Oh, they do think it's a fish.
Your hand's a fish.
Okay, so your hand is big. Yeah. I like fishing poles. I like to be in a boat or on the shore. All the sophisticated, intelligent things.
So I was going to ask you, how's it been working with Jimmy Smith?
I love that guy.
He's great. He's brilliant. He's a very smart guy.
I started hired about 4 years ago. That was because the UFC was looking for guys that were trying to do wrestling. They're traveling too much. They're trying to do wrestling. So they got hired to do wrestling. He's a really, really good.
He's smart.
We're doing our first show together in April. Okay. The 21st and Khabib Nurmagomedov. Oh, good. Yeah, Khabib versus Tony is going to be, it's a perfect fight for
So who's coloring play-by-play? Is he doing play-by-play and you're doing color?
No. John Anik's doing play-by-play.
Is Johnny not a guy?
Yeah. We're just going to have fun. He's a friend. He's done a podcast a bunch of times. So it'll be a good time.
And didn't he cut his teeth doing a TV show about combat sports?
Yeah.
About fighting around the world or whatever, learning different arts?
What was it called? Something like that. Fight Quest. Yeah. He did that. But he also had MMA fights. He's a legit black belt.
He knows his stuff.
Super smart and well-read guy, too. Yeah. I'm excited. He's on the
I always like listening to him.
Yeah, Bellator fucked up. They fucked up.
I was wondering what, well, not reply, but my guess was he just asked me on my, probably going to be on the UFC. They wouldn't match it, so
well, they didn't want him leaving for the UFC 4 years ago when I tried to get him hired. And there was a big hullabaloo, and they wound up keeping him. And then I think his contract was up. I think the way he described it was they actually wanted to give him less money. It's like, I think they're just experiencing some severe budget cuts. Like, you think about Bellator's market, like what they're trying to do, they don't have a pay-per-view business. And if you don't have a pay-per-view business, where's the bulk of the money coming from? It's a kind of
I just thought, it happened. I said, why didn't they change the name when Tooker was brought in to take over? It made zero sense to me because Bellator had that, from Bjorn Repney, I've never been a Bjorn Repney fan, Bjorn Repney, from that boxing promoter type, whatever it was. And everybody that I talked to in that business, all terrified and intimidated. There's a whole lot of shit.
I never met the guy. I'm like,
right. And so,
King Mo, Big Rider.
King Mo and I go back and forth on the internet, on Facebook and stuff. I'll deliberately piss him off on political stuff and just get him stirred up.
He's an underappreciated talent.
But yeah, no, that guy was.
Had some serious physical problems though, like with Ursa. He had some serious spinal infections. Real bad ones that wrecked him.
He's a great guy to talk. He's a great guy. He is. He's cool. But
Bellator changed the name. We should have changed the name.
It's just synonymous with tournaments and a guy loses the title and suddenly he's flipped back into a tournament. It's just a shitty business model. And Bellator was for the Spanish-speaking crowd, right? Yeah, I thought what they were trying to get out of that.
It's a Latin word, right? It's for the Roman word, gladiators and shit. But yeah, it started out as, wasn't that like ESPN Deportes or something?
Yeah. It just didn't make sense with Cooper taking over. I don't want to watch the Geritol Classic fight. I don't want to see a Pat Milicic fight. I don't want to see it, right? Everybody's, I love some of those guys, right? But I don't want to watch it. It's a young man's sport. It's guys that are animals, fast movers, just beasts, invincible human beings in their mid-20s to 30, whatever, early 30s. A guy that's 45 years old, it's just
not just 45, but 45 years old with MMA. Yeah, that's the real issue. Right. It's that these guys, their bodies have been beaten up for so many decades in the gym and all the years of wrestling and kickboxing. They're just not the same.
It takes some strength. It definitely takes some strength. They're just not.
I mean, it's part of me that respects the shit out of guys. Those days still fucking slapping the country with days. They would throw down with anything.
He wouldn't fight me.
Who is? When was this?
I've been trying to. I mean, with Bellator, I said, "We're gonna get Gracie to fight me." When he was fighting Shamrock, I confronted Shamrock on accident.
That was one of the worst fights that I had.
That was bad.
When Matt beat the shit out of him. When Matt took his back and was smashing him, and I was like, Jesus Christ! I was like, this is so mismatched. So this is in a different era. Matt is, even though Matt's not ranked, he's a legit black man. And a stud wrestler, and a physical freak, and super experienced with modern, high-level MMA, right? Where his voice was really in the past.
And the thing was with that was after Rob Lawler, Rory Markham, myself, Tim Sylvia, Gan McGee, Chuck Liddell, all of us were on that movie set in Mexico, that Paul Walker film.
Okay.
Right? Paul was a great guy. He was legitimately a good human being. I'm sure you knew him and all that.
I didn't know him, but I heard great things about him.
The stuff that he did on the set to stick up for the small guys was incredible. Maybe we got time to talk about it, but not. But we had gotten done with that. We'd become friends with Paul Walker and Oakley Lemon, who was his stunt double for everything, and the stunt guys were all really cool with us. We kind of gravitated towards them because they're stunt guys and we're fighters. We got along really well with them. But Lawrence Fishburne was on the set, the Carradine brothers. I'm a kid from Iowa going, this is fucking awesome. Right. These are cool dudes. Right? This is just to be around these guys. But so they were all at that fight in L.A. Paul Walker and all his actor buddies were in one row. Right behind them was Oakley Lemon and all his stunt guys. And so Paul Walker was a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu student. He, loved that. And so they were cheering for Hoist. All the stunt guys were cheering for Matt. Right? They're the hardcore, So anyway, Matt just dismantles him. wrecks him completely. And I turn around, I'm up on the deck outside the cage, and I turn around, and Paul Walker and all his actor buddies are like, what's happening? Standing on the chairs behind them was hopefully where all the stuff was. It was, but I saw half that crowd crying. Yeah. Because they saw a God get destroyed. Right, I mean.
That's why he was too. Right, voices, right. For martial arts, he was a legitimate hero. He was the first guy to win the Ultimate Fighting Championship, and the way he did it was like, oh, look at this guy's using technique that we didn't even know existed.
Little skinny guy, and he dismanaged it. And the thing was, with all of that, then the Gracies came back with Hughes was just a better athlete and used all jiu-jitsu, Gracie jiu-jitsu to beat Gracie jiu-jitsu. And so I went through all this stuff. He hit a duck under on Hoist when Hoist tried to hit him with an elbow. Hit him with a half Nelson when Hoist went to the reveal guard that match with his back. It was just a bunch of wrestling mixed in there, right? Yeah. And so then they brought out Almeida. Almeida was their dog to come beat Matt. Right. So they put in Almeida, who was bigger than Matt. He was a big dude for that weight division. Well, Matt deliberately hit him with a wrestling front headlock and choked him in the punches.
Well, it was a position that a lot of jiu-jitsu guys are used to being in there. They just relaxed to the waiting for you to spin to the back. But instead of spinning to the back, Matt just cranked that about your
when you stuff the head, when you stuff the head under the armpit and you crank that down and twist it, you crush it, you get choked.
Especially if the roll like that.
Right. And so when they did the interview, you were probably the guy doing the interview, and he goes, you know, it was just nice to use wrestling in the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and to put on conscience. Right. Not just you. I don't think Ricardo knew that could put him out. Right. You know, I mean, a lot of us have been in those positions before, but it's usually a transitional position where a guy turns to get you back. Guys in wrestling would use that stuff. You know, like Dave Lilovich, who wrestled for Purdue. Dave and Jerry Lilovich are all American really beasts. Obviously, Lilovich is a Croatian, Psycho Croatian, from Michigan City, Indiana. And Lilovich used to use a move that they named the Lilovich, where it was, not a bar spin. Anaconda?
It was an anaconda, right? In college wrestling, it looked like you had a front headlock. And he would choke people unconscious as soon as they go look and clinch, roll on the pin. That guy's doing that all the time.
About that.
So Dave Lilovich, Bill Tate from Iowa State. Bill Tate was a Waterloo, Iowa guy. And he put him asleep. He put him asleep in the NCAA championship. Is that illegal? Oh, it's totally illegal, but referees didn't understand it because it looked like you had the arm included in the headlock, right?
Right. But if you do have an arm included in the headlock, is it your fault if the guy goes asleep?
No, not at all. We'll see what it's illegal to pin him. If the referee recognized he went limp, they would stop the match for a potentially dangerous hold or whatever.
So what you have to do is get some of these really bad UFC referees to referee the rest. They would have no idea the guy was there.
Yeah. But the guy's doing it. Did you see at the NCAA, the guy hitting the key lock on the guy trying to break his arm?
No.
Yeah.
Didn't Mark Schultz do that in the Olympics?
Oh, you know, I'm not sure.
Ripped the guy's fucking arm off with that. I believe he was disqualified.
I mean, the Schultz brothers was just scary. Dave Schultz was just unbeatable.
Remember when Mark fought Big Daddy Goodrich?
Right.
Because in the movie, they used a different guy. They didn't have him fight Big Daddy Goodrich in the movie. They had him fight some Russian.
Was that Fox catching or something?
Yeah, it was a bullshit scene. I was like, why don't you do that? This is actual real history. Right. You really have a guy who's like one of the best wrestlers to ever fight MMA. To us, it was a real historical moment.
And he took it on last second notice.
Yeah. He fought Big Daddy Goodrich. We all remember it. And in this fucking movie, you faked it. You put someone else in. So what else did you fake? What are these bullshitters in this movie where you're pretending this is a historical recreation of a real national crime that everybody heard about? It was a real tragedy. And it was a tragedy against a guy who's one of the best wrestlers that America had to offer. I felt like it was one of the worst examples of what Hollywood does, the arrogance of Hollywood.
To do a real story.
A real story. They just decided, fuck the Big Daddy Goodrich, why not him in there? Right. And it would be like Mike Tyson, pretending Mike Tyson won the fucking world title against Ivan Drago or something. Really, it would be something else. Everybody knows what the real fight was.
Being an Iowa guy, this whole California experience in Hollywood, this stuff, makes me fucking shit. It does. It's just some. I was out here pitching TV shows before the Ultimate Fighter. I was pitching an Ultimate Fighter show to Kevin O'Reilly, who was the president of NBC at the time, and John Hirschfeld, who you John Hirschfeld did before I had a laugh. This is awesome. I love this show. I love this idea. Mine was much different than Perfect, but it actually made sense. The four pillars of each one and all that sort of stuff. Right? Well, he called us personally and he goes, you know, the board talked about it, and the board just, he goes, I couldn't get it. They just didn't feel each ready for this type of thing and all that. Then he opened right on his wife. Every time I had one show sold to Stars, the guy that used to be the president of HBO, remember him? Which guy? The guy that got in trouble, right? Yeah. I can't remember his name. I don't remember. Brett? No. Rex. Something Albrecht? Yeah. Chris Albrecht? Chris Albrecht. That's it. I had a show sold, and then they were going to co-brand it for Spartacus, and then the lead actor for Spartacus got terminal cancer, and they couldn't co-brand it together, and that deal fell apart. Then another one that I had sold fell apart because of the collapse in 2008. Okay, dude, I can't.
It's a crazy business also. Like, if you're an outsider, you come in here to try to pitch things, there's so many people that already know they're pitching things. Like, you gotta imagine if you're a guy that's a producer or, you know, executive editor, some sort of network, you've got people knocking on your door all day long.
And you're used to quality for something.
Yeah.
Or what you want to see.
Right, you've seen their work. Yeah. It's very hard for an outsider.
Oh, dude, I finally just... I had so many concepts written on a laptop. I'd sit up all hours of the night writing concepts for shows, all that sort of stuff.
You know what's interesting? This thing that you're doing for fun, your conspiracy theory, that's probably your best way in. Podcasts are the best way in. Because you get to build an audience, an undeniable audience.
Well, and we want to go to, you know, black sites, CIA black sites, and arrest us and drag our ass in there, right? We want to get in trouble, right? We want to go to places where we're going to want that. We're going to push the...
Say you want that.
I don't... Okay, I get what you're saying, but we want to push the envelope, right? We want to push the envelope, and we want to expose the real facts behind what's really going on. That would cause some heat. I'm sure that we'd eventually get a call, you know, where you need to kind of divert off the path of, you know, stuff. Without a thought, we were before that. Weren't you starting to do a show like that?
I did Joe Rogan's Question Together. Mostly it was on Bigfoot, UFOs.
Just stuff you're not going to get in trouble.
Aliens. Well, it was mostly almost all bullshit. That's the problem. And I was much more interested in conspiracy theories before I did that show. But in the 6 months that I did that show, and all these different people that I interviewed, and all the stuff you saw in the air was just a fraction of the total mass of all the people that we talked to. But mostly it was bullshit. Mostly it's crazy people. Mostly it's people that just have a bad way of looking at reality. Like they have confirmation bias, and the way they look at things, they just have this very distorted version of what the truth is. And they also want Bigfoot to be real. They want aliens to be real. They want the government to be spraying shit out of planes about us all the time. It's all just that we've had Brennan, who was head of the CIA, admit to that, at least. Well, they admit to one thing, that they have looked into weather modification. Right. But the idea that every fucking Southwest flight is spraying aluminum and all this different shit in the air. For sure, they've experimented on using it for warfare. I mean, they've looked into everything. They've looked into...
Spray the atmosphere over your enemy, and have storms break out on them.
There's that, and also to, look, you know, in Abu Dhabi, they make it rain every week. They make it rain 52 times a year. Yeah, they just do it with... They just throw money in the air and it fucking rains. Wow. Like, they just figure out a way to cloud seed, and that cloud seeding has been around forever. That's real. Yeah. But that's not what you're seeing when you see planes fly overhead. You see this cloud one behind the plane. That is the reaction between the jet engines, the condensation in the atmosphere, the heat of the jet engine.
And I was never sold on it. For a long time, I was never sold on it. It's ridiculous. You know, there's never, you know, in the 9/11 conspiracies and stuff like that. The only thing that I've noticed about that is you can see the detonations going off on building 7.
You don't see detonations. What you see is floors collapsing and the pressure of these floors collapsing causing these windows to blow up. This is just what would happen if something was painted.
But I don't subscribe to it, is what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. I don't subscribe to it either. I mean, who knows what the fuck happened with all the shit behind the scenes. But what we do know is that a bunch of people capitalize on that, which makes it look like conspiracy.
And all the intelligence reports that came out before that happened was the terrorists planned on using planes as missiles to take down buildings.
Yeah.
We knew that,
Yeah.
at least. That's where I'd stop.
I lean much more towards incompetence than I do massive
A
conspiracy.
bunch of Barney Fibes, Keystone Cops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I think.
Right.
But who knows? I wanted to talk to you about marathons, ultra marathons. Like you got into. When did you start getting into this?
It was a couple of years ago. John Byrne, who is a professor at a college here in my hometown, and he and his family had taken martial arts training for years. And he one day walked up to me, I think it was 2000.
The waving of the checkered flags at the top of the
Earlier.
finish line jump
And he goes,
signifies
"Hey," he
to
goes,
the
"I wanna thank you
riders
for all the confidence
this
you've given
450
me."
qualifying
And he was an
session
amazing guy.
is over.
Very, very smart
Here's
guy.
a look at the
and a
results.
great athlete. Great basketball player. The guy's now 53 years old, I think, and never gets hurt. He can do anything he wants, and he does not get hurt. He's just a genetic freak, right? But he comes to me and he goes, "Thank you for giving me the confidence. I love the martial arts training, but I'm going to try something new." I said, "What are you going to try?" And he goes, "This thing called the Leadville 100. And I go, "What the hell's that?" He goes, "Well, it's a high-altitude, 100-mile race through the Colorado Rockies." And I go, "How many days is this supposed to take?" And he goes, "Oh, no, you do it all at once." All right? You're going to do 100 miles without basically stopping. He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "About every 10 miles, you get new food and fluids, and you just keep going." I went, "Awesome. Go do it, man." And he went and he finished. He barely made the cutoff, which is 30 hours. You have to do it, right? And so I thought, this is really cool. And it was a couple years ago where he sent me a message and he goes, "I'm training for Leadville again." And I go, maybe it's a good idea for me to jump in. I want to do something extreme. And since I quit fighting, I could never, there was just that void in my life, right? And my health was deteriorating. I couldn't figure out how to get back in shape because I was in pain constantly. I had asthma, all this other stuff. I found out that I had a gluten problem, right? And I thought, before that, I thought if somebody said I'm gluten sensitive or I have allergy to gluten, I'd go, whatever. What is gluten, right?
Right.
But I was running into so many physical problems. I started training with these guys, and I'd be crippled for 2-3 days. I'd be in so much pain that I couldn't do anything. And then my buddy goes, and I was getting ready to start eating Oxycontins. That was, I mean, I could survive on Motrin, all the
It's
pain,
time now for the
everything
final
else. But I got
450
to
heat
right
race.
flying.
4 more
I would
riders
walk
will
5 gates
transfer
in the
out of this
airport and have to stop
heat
and
straight
sit
to the main
down
event.
and
You want to get one of those
so
highly coveted transfer
everything else.
spots
So I had all these
locked
problems, and I
in.
figured if I train with these guys, it'll bring me out of this point in life, and it'll change my life, and I'll get back to the Pat Milicic of the old. Well, I was falling apart worse because of the intensity of the training. So my buddy did blood tests on me. He goes, "You're going to be dead in 3 years from a heart attack. There's so much inflammation in your body if you don't stop eating gluten." And I go, "What the hell is gluten?" He goes, "Wheat and soy. You have to stop eating it, or you're dead."
Soy gluten?
Yeah. Wheat and soy. So it's all.
But how? Wait a minute. I thought
It's all
gluten was
modified
a
grains,
protein
right?
that comes from
Soy has been modified. Like black beans have been modified for a certain amount of time. Your body doesn't digest black beans. They're like a waste of time to eat. So, but the wheat and the soy is what was causing the inflammation, along with the spraying that goes on with wheat fields and soy fields. It's really bad. Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, it's bad stuff. So anyway, he said, "You'll be dead in 3 years from a heart attack. There's so much inflammation. You have asthma, you have 3 forms of arthritis, your digestion system, your digestive system is destroyed." He goes, "How's your temper been lately?" I go, "Not
Fucking
real good." He
lag
goes,
on
"Your
the
brain's
schedule.
getting destroyed. Your thinking process is screwed up because the chemicals in your stomach is getting is affecting you. Like it's your second stomach or your second brain, right?" He goes, "So you have to understand that." So I quit cold turkey, stopped eating. Took about a week before my arthritis subsided. Started to go right, went from only 3-mile runs and feeling miserable to 10 months later I've been 75 in 10 months from not eating that garbage.
Was it a race, the 75 hour?
Yeah, it was actually a training run. It was a training run with the guys. And, they worked me up from 3-mile, 10-mile run, 12-mile, 15, 18, 20. They would drop back down to a 10-mile run on the weekend. They'd always do the long runs on the weekends. And a lot of times I was doing these runs on no sleep because I don't want to Friday night. Get home the next day on Saturday, have no sleep because I finish late and get flying on the first thing in the morning is what I always did. Operating on no sleep and then started to do 30-mile run, 35, 45, 50, and 75-mile run. Along with the stuff I was doing too. And it's just an amazing, it's probably the coolest group of people I've been around. David Clark, who oh my God. The guy that served as a role model for me, just reading his book, which is called Out There. Cultural recovery. A guy who was 3 years with alcohol, which changed his life one day. Decided to become a badass ultra runner. It just, being around those people, they don't show pain. They just don't show pain. Even when they're in misery, it's a weird mindset. It's so much different than when I'm back into misery and I'm exhausted and tight. This is, now that I've gone through some of this stuff, it's a joke. It's a complete joke. Because when you're out there running 75 miles, 50 miles at 97 feet, with the same percentages you never get a flat top in Iowa, you get scorched with probably 4 hours of heat stroke. My brain is getting flat. And I literally felt like I was like a comic the whole time. And these guys are laughing. They're laughing. They had me in a field at mile 30, farmer's yard, hosing me down with cold water from the farmer's house, just to get my body temperature down so I could get going. Just crazy stuff like that. They're just hardcore. It's an amazing group of people, and I encourage people to work their way up, try and find a running group and try it, because it's cool shit. How often do you do it now? I backed off of late. I've been doing more, kind of getting back into grappling a little bit, doing a little bit of kickboxing stuff. I tell people, look, don't go for the goal. And I had to tell people, and there's a lot of good grapplers at the place I go to. Summit, it's a wrestling and jiu-jitsu facility, CrossFit, but some of the guys that I used to train, the senior guys down there, there's some really technical guys, some technical guys. Some Joel Long follows that system quite a bit. He's former special forces guy. And, I just said to everybody the first few times I went down there, I go, look, I have no desire to be a world champion again. I'm paralyzed twice from the neck down. I have no desire to get in before the walls or what I'm going to do. I'm here to get back in shape and just grab. So let's understand that first and foremost. Go for crazy submissions on your neck. I'm not going to like you. So I'm doing a lot of that. I'm slowly getting kind of back into the mindset. Going back up to the brother, who's 58, he never ran. He did leg roll last year. Was it last year? Yeah. That's a guy that never ran. And most people take the high country to be able to do a marathon. He did 50 miles in leg roll, missed the cutoff at 50 miles. But he's 58 years old and never ran before. He was in love. He fell in love with it. He's in the mountains. I already live my sports career. I already won a world title. I've done some cool shit. So me running that, and I saw the course, this is intimidating. This is to look at a mountain at the 40 to 50 mile mark, at the 50 to 60 mile back. It's some scary shit. It's intimidating. My brother was totally the opposite mindset. He was like, this is the coolest shit I've ever done in my life. He goes, bombing down that mountain was the coolest thing I've ever done. This is amazing. I just went, that's the way the mind's supposed to understand. He got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it is a lot of it is how you approach things, right? How you approach challenges. And some people love the idea of something being very difficult, like what struggle. I can't believe how tough that was to get out of it and feel exhilarated. Yeah. Whereas other people, they look at it like, oh no, I need a couch, a sandwich, and a good TV show about fucking.
Right. But I did let go a couple years back. And John Byrne and I went out 2 weeks early, and I had to leave from Colorado, fly back to Providence, and then fly back. He picked me up at the airport and went back up. But while I was looking for the first couple days, we went up Mount Albert, which is Colorado. I felt the altitude. I felt the altitude. It was painful. Then we got caught up storm on top of the mountain. Bad storm, hail, downpour, lightning everywhere, all over the mountain. We had to bomb down this mountain as fast as we could, like trash my flies. And we're real close to the actual race. It's like a week and a half away. And so then I got on a plane, flew to Providence, and I was game. I started to sweat. I never had an anxiety attack before the run. You'd think it did. This is some crazy stuff. And so when you get ready to run, Michael Shimano looks at me and goes, so? I go, I'm freaking out. Dude, I'm going to fly back to Colorado and go do this race. I'm panicking, right? And I never thought I'd be afraid of anything. But the course is that intimidating. So Michael goes, yeah, it's intense. So do the show, and then I got back there. And then, and out there in the mountains, You start at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's just start working. People you never, because you look at it on the street, you know when that wish would hurt the bottom. I just smile. So, right.
And she went off to food.
How many hours?
She beat the 10 hours and 20 miles. She beat the second place guy.
That's amazing. Were there people that thought she cheated to do that?
It's really, she won a race blind. She was having some sort of retinal edema, so she couldn't see anything but her feet.
The pacer had to tell her where to go and all that sort of stuff.
She had a pacer. She tripped and fell and cracked her head open. She went to the finish line bloody and blind.
And that's one of the toughest people you're ever going to meet.
Right. If you met her, completely unassuming, thin woman, real silly, drinks beer and eats nachos, not on some kind of crazy diet, eats candy.
Right.
She's real fun to hang out with. That's like very easy going.
It's like you meet Navy SEALs and you go, they're supposed to be tough, right? Right. But I watched Navy SEALs fall apart last year. And just fell apart. It was really,
you're not physically prepared, too.
They didn't come up with different things. So they were getting ready for it. You know, you get dehydrated at any point, or deficit, and all this different altitude times, and all the other stuff. It's definitely a mental thing. Yeah, it's wild. So fighting is, the way I look at it, the best way I can explain to you is fighting is so fun. Fighting is. Yeah, I mean, in reality, I was fighting, when I fought Pele, we were ranked second. I didn't train for 6 weeks without fighting because I was quitting. I was going back, destroyed, all that stuff. I had 12 shots of Lidocaine when I was fighting. And he was the number 2 guy in the world at the time. Very athletic. Right. But he couldn't do shit to hurt me even when I was crippled. He fell back for a leg lock on me and I laughed. And he goes, well, that's not going to do right? But he was aiming on my head and throwing uppercuts and body shots and he was calling me. He ran up my body with me. Like that. Just a freak. But fighting is that easy. It's that simple. Because you're trying to outwit and smartly. Right? When you're running for 50 miles, 75 miles, or whatever, 30 miles, battling with yourself, yes, that's what you do. Right. That's the scary part about it, because you got to face yourself.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, you're in the middle of a fight, especially a war. You're in the moment. You got throwing bombs,
acting, and just doing it.
And dealing with it, toughen up. You take a minute break, drink some water, hop right back out again for 5 minutes. This is just a completely different animal. Right. Do you miss the old days of no time limits?
I had fun back in those days because I could go 100 miles an hour and gas people on the beat. Right. Conditioning. I enjoyed that. I did enjoy that. But you know, it is what it is. There were fights in tournaments that would go 45 minutes and just, you can't cover that on TV. Right. You just can't.
When you fought down. Was that a no time limit?
Just a 30-minute one-round fight.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it is what it is. People would sit down and watch it live, but they're not going to watch it on TV.
Even if they watch it on
pay-per-view,
they're going to get bummed out.
Right.
It's just not the best thing in terms of entertainment.
Not at all. So it's, the rounds, the rules, and all that sort of stuff.
So you chance to look at some girls that get easy between rounds, on the cards.
And, I talked to John Peretti. We had John Peretti on one of our podcasts.
Oh, yeah? How's he doing?
He's got some health issues. I think I know he's got MS and some other issues and stuff like that. But, he wants people to know that he's the guy that did that. He did, right?
Yeah.
He wants people to know I'm the guy that created all that stuff.
Yeah, well, he was the matchmaker at the time when I first started working for UFC.
Okay.
And
so it has been since 97 years ago.
Yeah, I did UFC 12. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I came in at 16, so you've been around longer than me. It's awesome.
I remember you were dating. When I was, how's he doing?
He's doing, I think, okay. I know he got shot.
Robbery. Yeah, he's a good guy. Top fight. I remember when he fought Virginia Tadeo.
Wrecked him.
Yeah, and everybody thought that he was the next guy.
Eugenio was a psychopath that friggin' went after Henzo and was kicking Henzo's ass and they shut the power down in the building so Henzo wouldn't lose.
Yes, that was in Brazil, right?
That was crazy. Back then. Yeah, but Burnett was, Mikey Burnett was a guy who was a Greco national champ. benched 405, squatted 405, squatted
Tough as fuck. Yeah. The old days. Yeah. It's been so long. It's really interesting to stop thinking about it.
How many thousands of fights have you fought?
I've seen way too many people get fucked up. I know that. I'm real numb to watching people get beat up.
And that's the thing. That's to, I would say, as my coaching career progressed, as I got hurt, when you're young and full of testosterone, psychopath, and your coach was just like, let's go do this. Right. And as I got older and mellowed out, I mean, I had to lay down on the floor of the locker room. There's a huge trigger fight because I knew trigger was a dangerous dude. Just because I was in the bitch and a good wrestler. And I was really nervous for that fight. I had to lay on my back and just decompress for 30 minutes before I went, just to go out and just coach, calm mind. You know, when Hughes fought Carlos took the title from me. And Carlos coming out, and we were infuriated because he's walking out with 2 Playboy bunnies. And it was, you know, it's a show. Right? It's a show. It's
That was when that big ramp existed.
Right. And so Hughes is standing there, and I was all fucked up. I said, Matt, we had to get Matt off the track with the farm to fight, right? Because my automatic rematch clause they reneged on that and said, your choice, either Matt can fight him or somebody from another camp. But if Matt or somebody from another camp fights him, you got the winner no matter what. But if Matt fights him and loses, you can rematch Carlos. But if Matt wins, obviously that's tough. Right. So Matt's standing inside the cage. You gotta smash this guy straight. Matt turns around and goes, it's gonna be all right. He goes, we got this. We got this. I was like, all right.
That was a crazy win.
That's what I said.
Into the triangle.
Yeah. Probably the entire crowd that mouth they've never seen anything like that.
Well, was he kind of half out?
He was out.
He was out with the triangle.
He knew he was going out and slammed him and then
went out.
Here's the thing.
That's when he jumped up and said, I won.
Matt sits up like this and he's kind of looking around. And I dove over the cage and let my legs catch on one side so that I could barely touch Matt's head with my hand. I scraped his hair really fast. I'm like, get up. And I knew he was out. Right? So I'm like, get up. And he stands up and he goes, and Jeremy goes, you just won. He's like, crazy. That was cool. That was a cool fight.
Yeah.
Very intense.
Yeah, that was great. Carlos Newman was one of the most technical jiu-jitsu guys.
Oh, he was sick. Yeah, he was an athletic dude.
Yeah.
One of the best fights I've ever seen to this day was he and Dan Henderson.
Oh, yeah.
That was an insane fight.
Yeah.
It was such a great fight.
That was 97. 97 or
possibly, yeah.
Somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
That was one of my early days. I remember when Chuck Liddell made his UFC debut. I think he fought Noe Hernandez, and I'm pretty sure he was wearing wrestling shoes.
Here are the final results for the second 450 heat race. The first 4 riders will have the opportunity to move on directly to the main event, while the rest of the field will be back on the track soon.
Remember that fight, Peretti came to Chuck and told him, if you want to keep working and keep fighting for the UFC, do not take this guy down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you found out that Chuck was a wrestler.
Ah.
Those are the dirty days.
That was Gary Shaw telling Petrozelli and Shamrock type stuff, right? Petrozelli had to stand up with Kimbo because he would play Shamrock.
I forgot about that guy.
One of the greatest interviews ever was Dana White after that. Remember when he looks at the camera and he goes, you can't do that. It's fucking illegal.
That's fucking illegal. Yeah, it is fucking illegal.
Yeah.
That was the dumbest matchup, too. There's a video of me in the green room of the Punchline in Atlanta, Georgia. I had gotten off stage and I was waiting to see Ken Shamrock fight Kimbo.
Okay.
And I was like, what a fight this is going to be.
Yeah.
I get off stage and they say, oh, Ken Shamrock got hurt warming up and Kimbo is now fighting Seth Petrozelli. And I go, oh, this is a terrible idea for Kim. And I said it. And I said, like, to the camera,
right.
It's like the craziest thing ever. I go, Seth Petrozelli's going to fuck him up.
Right.
I'm like, this is...
Because we're assuming he's going to take him down and submit him.
And I thought he was going to KO him.
Did you?
Seth was a way better striker.
I thought Seth was just going to take him down.
I thought Seth is a karate striker, like a legit seasoned black belt.
Right.
And he could submit guys, but he was on another level as a mixed martial artist. I was like, Kimbo's stiff. So here's me, while this is happening.
If I'm wrong, you'll never see this.
Well, to go to the beginning. Hold on. What it said at the beginning.
This is a last-minute replacement. I gotta think set pressure's always gonna fuck him up.
The world center of racing, the legendary Daytona International Speedway. Wait here, and your name is forever etched in the history books. But first you have to conquer the sandy course carved out of the triangle. Hi everybody, I'm Ralph Shamir. Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship is set to fight for the glory that comes with winning at Daytona. The crowd is into it tonight. That will definitely get these riders pumped up as they wait for the gate drop.
Remember Canada? We all do. Yeah.
That was a bad deal.
Sad.
Very bad.
Yeah, that guy was,
I think he rolled out there into the desert with my mission, I think.
you know, I mean, maybe when he was out there, he decided to go that way, or maybe he just really did get lost and finds water, but that's one of the
The riders are lined up. The gate is about to drop. Who will...
Yeah, that's fun. He was pretty bad.
He's an interesting guy, too. He got a little other than his money.
Yeah, actually, and he fought down. What was the show in Texas that they got on? Because he cut his tooth and put it on the circuit. Shows Texas Fighting Championship or something.
With tackles and smashing.
Terrell was talented. Fuck yeah, he was. But he was mentally.
Well, in that fight, or at least he gassed out. Well, something happened in that fight. But yeah, that was the word, that his talent had been matched up to his performance. And as a jiu-jitsu player, though, he was very, very successful. Like, I saw him fight out in Audi. He was phenomenal. He produces some of the best black belts.
Who's the best grappler?
It's hard to tell. I mean, it's probably Donovan. Yeah, it's probably Gordon Brown or Jerry Tyler, one of those guys. But then there's a lot of really high-level jiu-jitsu guys. See, the thing is, no one is caught up with Donovan's leg game. Like, there's a few guys. There's Craig Jones out of Australia that's on a really high level. There's a bunch of guys that are closing in. But it seems like what Donovan is doing, and Donovan is such a fucking loser. He's such a genius. His application of his mind is severely critical. He's got one big hip, and then replace one of them. And he hurt his knee at 100 right hand. His knee was so loose and fucked up that they shortened his tendons. Stitched them back together again, but they shortened it too much. And he never could fully extend his leg. And he was fucked up and went out. And they did just cause it for that defect in his hip. Just wore it out. Yeah, it wore out his hip. So he's severely injured. But there's a mind. There's he's very, very, very superior intellect. And the way he's applied that thought process to jiu-jitsu is incredibly unique. And so those guys, Eddie Cummings, Dick Ryan, Gordon Ryan, the Donovan Death Squad, they call it, right? I have to think that, at least in terms of accomplishments, I mean, that guy submitted Cyborg, the Carter Brewer, in the fucking East. You watch that fight? And I have John Donovan on the podcast break down when he did the Cyborg. Cyborg's a multiple-time world champion. Yeah. I mean, and Gordon Ryan went right through him. Gordon Ryan's 2024.
I just look at great grapplers throughout history. Louis Gracie's a scary dude. Yeah. Moves forward in time and just watching guys. It's almost like a constant cyclical. There's a cycle there of you learn how to defend stuff, you hit stuff, people learn how to defend it, you move on. It's this constant cycle of evolution, creative stuff. I just watch it all, but I just wish I could see it. Just have fun with it.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing that your mind, it absorbs all these techniques and you understand like any better, but your body just gets it.
Right. And that's the thing with MMA especially. I think it's a race to amass enough knowledge. Right. It just is.
Well, that's why TRT is so interesting. The TRT Vitor days. You have Vitor and choose to the tits. Experience. I mean, Vitor made his UFC debut back when I fought my first fight. I was a first fight interviewer, rather. Right. UFC 12. That was his debut at 19 years of age. So here you have him at 37, juiced out of his fucking mind with muscles on his eyebrows. I mean, he was so jacked. He got rocked over for a good thing. I mean, clearly he was not just taking testosterone replacement therapy. He was juiced up. I mean, he was way above all those levels.
I remember UFC Brazil. I was fighting Vanderlei and Vitor were fighting each other.
Yeah.
Right? And you knew that was a collision. That was two scary dudes.
Vitor wore shoes for that fight.
But here's the crazy thing. I'm in my locker room. I'm getting ready to fight. And one of Vitor's trainers comes in. Vitor sent them to get me to come give him a pep talk. He said that was the fight when he had hid for like 3 days because he was terrified.
It was so scary.
He was having just this, I think, a mental breakdown. An anxiety attack about fighting Vitor or about fighting a regular celebrity. So he's in his locker room and he's sitting in the corner. He's like, with his eyes big, he's scared to death. And I walk in there and I'm like, dude, I'm going to fight for world titles. What are you doing? What is wrong with you? Let's fucking go. Let's fucking kill these guys. Right? Got him all pumped up. He's like, all right, man, all right.
And we really got that fight took a lot of. He wasn't the same guy for a long time.
The most brutal fight I've ever seen in my life was Andre Batesh and the Kobo Arena in Detroit. It was way too strong. It was horrifying because Andre had shot on him. He was walking his feet down, guys walking his feet up the cage and dropping knees straight down the back of his head. That was illegal. Yep. And the entire crowd is rolling. Kobo Arena is packed. All you can hear over the top of everything is Andre's girlfriend screaming, like someone who's being slaughtered in front of them, which they were, right? Yeah. And then you've got this Valdo Alvarez, who's an encyclopedia presented to an amazing guy, and Alan Gomez. And Alan Gomez, I've been up there all week to help Andre get ready for the fight, right? And Alan Gomez shows up the day of the fight, the night of the fight, walks into the locker room, and goes, "What's your name?" And he goes, "Here's a camera." That's what Alan treated me when we first met, right? So I'm watching Andre get mauled, completely slaughtered. And these guys won't throw in the towel. And I'm going, guys, this is stupid. This is stupid. And John stopped the fight, called the time over, and he goes, "You want to continue?" All Andre knew in England was more. All right, and again, and he gets slaughtered some more, put him back up, more, send him back out in front of John. Like, we're going to have a title. So that was horrifying fight. That was the most brutal fight I've ever seen.
Listen, Pat, we just did 3 hours. 3 hours plus. Time flies by.
I'm surprised my attention span.
Your attention span's on point. That's all I ultra marathon. Right. We got this going, yeah. And please, everybody, check out Conspiracy Farm. Is it on iTunes and everything?
Yeah. And if they go to chemicalfreebody.com, you would love that stuff.
Okay.
Chemicalfreebody.com. It's all vegan products, sprouted grains, all kinds. I mean, the guys that go your company. A good friend of mine, Jim James, who's saving people's lives from cancer to all kinds of shit. He is healing people, veterans with all kinds of open wounds from chemical stuff. And he's saving.
Doing live fight
Lion Fight, we no longer cover that. We cover CES and LFA.
Okay. Yeah. And then you can talk about, right? What is the event? Is it on Access?
Access TV Friday night. Yeah. Mark Cuban's network. We're doing the blast. We're going to have great fights, title fights. There's some great fights.
Beautiful. All right. Pat Multis, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, man. It was awesome. Listen, man, I'm a big fan of all combat sports, but I really believe that there's one sport that doesn't get it to do it's combat. I really don't understand why it hasn't taken off in America. I don't get it. I love boxing. Boxing's a lot of fun. I think Muay Thai is twice as fun.
Yeah, it's twice as hard. Well, I think, I mean, I fought pro boxing. I got over with Muay Thai fight. Definitely not harder. I mean, it's getting more mainstream now along with the MMA because most of the top MMA fighters are doing Muay Thai for the stand-up, but it's still not where it needs to be.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think what puts a lot of people on Muay Thai is maybe the 2-minute break, and also the
2-minute break in between rounds?
Yeah, and the traditional music and stuff like that. People find it hard to take to really, which is, I mean, I love it, so I don't see that problem, but I can see outside the box with that as well.
Well, I feel like the 2-minute break gives guys more of a chance to recover, which makes the fights more exciting. And I don't care about the dance, the white group, it doesn't bother me.
Well, you're a fan, you might be like funny to sit down and
watch baseball. Baseball's so fucking boring. It's crazy how boring it is.
A lot of shows in England now, they're starting to cut out the traditional stuff. No white groups, get in the ring, face off, bells and us go straight away. So I'm trying to cut little aspects of it out just to make it more media friendly.
Yeah, we should probably explain to people who don't know what we're talking about the dance that they do. It's called the white group. And it's what is the headband? Those are the mongkong. That's the mongkong. And when you're doing the dance, the idea is like to warm up.
Yeah, there's lots of different reasons why there's different camps for different things, but it makes you feel good, isn't it? See in the ring and not taking play respect to your gym, your coaches,
yeah, I mean, I enjoy doing it. It sort of prepares me mentally for what's about to happen. I've done it a million all night for the fights. Only the odd thing or two that I've missed, but then that's only because I've been told by the promoters, right? I enjoy doing it, but like I said, like some people who watch it, they can't see that.
And in case anybody didn't catch that, he's got dance accent. He just said 108 fights. That's fucking crazy. That's a lot of fights.
It is for a Westerner, but like a lot of the Thais I'm coming across, they're 200, 300 plus. I remember last year I fought a Thai, and they said, oh, Liam's had 100 fights. That is a lot, what do you think? And he said, I've had 100 fights when I was 15 years old. That was Singh Gamble said that loud. I'm not sure.
He's got every day, 52 weeks a year.
So that's living, isn't it? So,
yeah.
If you don't eat, it's Thailand. If you don't fight, you don't eat. So, see ya. There's no way around that or anything like that. So, you have to do it.
I had former UFC champion Pat Miletich in yesterday. We were talking about how crazy it is because one place, Thailand, developed this completely effective style. Like, they changed the way people fight. I mean, they really did. If you look at all the other martial arts, whether it's karate or kung fu and everything else, like, they figured it out.
Yeah, right. But what's happening now is, well, the Westerners are starting to catch up now. I mean, remember the first time I went to Thailand, not many people were going, and not many people knew about fighting that Thailand. More and more Westerners now are going to live there, they're staying at the London, they're getting down. We had handsome people who got the fight. Wow. They thought like back in the day, it might have been like Robert Becker, Kennedy, obviously John Wayne Hart, them guys.
Ronnie Green as well.
Yeah, right. But now there's a lot, especially like the old French guys, the top level, British guys, Dan Gowan, he's doing it, and we are starting to compete with people top level.
Is Muay Thai more popular in Europe than in America?
Yeah, there's massive shows in Europe every weekend. I mean, in America there's like the name Line Fight. Yeah, we've got like 2 or 3 huge promotions in England now, Blackout, the French, they have massive shows every weekend with top level fighters. All over Poland, everywhere he's getting huge.
I'm a big fan of Lion Fight, but it seems to me that there's a lot of times where these guys come over and they're fighting someone that really doesn't belong with them. And you get to see like a Godzilla or something like that.
That was actually the guy's first fight against the guy with a 400 fights. Like one of the best fight champions of his era.
Yeah, and his first ever professional Muay Thai fight.
Got whipped off.
That's the difference between your phone and everything else, you know, that you do it in such a way that the matchmaking going forward is the matchmaking. The fights are like really, always. which I really enjoy.
And you've been doing commentary for them for how long?
I've been doing commentary for Yokai since 2011.
I still have some of the old It's Showtime on my old, I have a DVR in my gym that's like fucking 10 years old, and I still have your voice, right? Yeah,
Sorry about that. I'm sorry about that.
It's great.
You know what, as a patrol, I've shenanigans in the past, you'd be surprised, but no, it's you know, Yoko's not from strength to strength. You know, it's Showtime on shooting, on shooting or what's now. You know, it's so healthy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so healthy, kickboxing.
Well, it's so high level. It's just, to me, I mean, I've sat down, thought about this alone by myself for hours on it, trying to think like what would be the way to get more time more popular in America. Because me, as a person who loves combat sports, I look at Muay Thai and I'm like, this is the pinnacle of striking sports. It's the most exciting to me. I like the clinch, I like the elbows, I love kickboxing, I love glory. But I feel like there's something missing with that. Like just the stuff that you were showing me today, with all the trips and the sweeps and all that stuff that's eliminated in glory.
The thing is with Leo as well, though, because he's got such a fan-friendly style. I know he's not particularly a clincher, but he's been cross-back walloping at 50 miles an hour. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm the biggest fan. And if you listen to the commentary, it's totally 100% biased. And I don't fucking care. And I look at it, you know what I mean? I've known him since he was 15.
I've got ball for it. Look how well he's laid down. Oh, he's doing great.
He's that man's just smashing it. But you know, for me, it's the style that makes it exciting.
Yeah, I think that with the TV thing, I think getting more popular, you can pick and choose what fights you put on the TV.
Yeah.
If you just put like a random show on with like 3 like fights that are terrible, the one's okay, you need to, instead of it being live, maybe like pick and choose some good fights, get it out there, get people talking about it. Like a good fight, you see that, see them elbows, see all that blood, see them sweeps. That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what I do personally.
I feel like if a network like Fox took a chance and had one Saturday night and they promoted it, we're going to show you the most dangerous stand-up strikers on the planet. You might think that professional boxers are the most dangerous strikers, but they literally wouldn't last 2 rounds. They get their legs kicked out from under them, they get kneed in the body, elbow in the face, they get cut up, clinched, thrown to the ground. It's just a better style of fighting. And a guy like you on TV would be a whole lot of fun. I'm a big fan of the way you fight, man. You fight like you got rabies.
It's like what Billy said, I've always had that type of style as well. You know what, sometimes I've probably lost fights on points because of going on to go to the field when I changed my game plan. I've probably could have won the last 6 months. Now I get in there, people can watch me fight and pay me around 800. If you watch me fight, they want to see me smash him, right? They want to see me knock him out, they want to see me, even if it goes the distance, they want to see me put it all in there. People are paying their money for that, so I feel like I've got a moral obligation to give them that. I mean, I can fight technical as well. I've had lots of fights in the past where I've gone in with that against schooled top level fighters. But I don't like doing that. I want to get in there.
I don't like it doing that either. I'm not going to do it, you know.
You don't like when he fights technical?
And listen, you can't do any wrong in my eyes. You know what I mean? You can't, you know what I mean? Oh, Liam killed the family for nothing. Oh, they must have done something. But no, I just think that, you know, the style, the way that the show, the way that I work on the I mean, to have that level of it's matchmaking. See, we say like anything. It's done well, it's beautiful, it's done badly.
Right.
It's fully matched.
You know, like one of the reasons why we were talking about the Demonic Rocket and Mel Alvarez fight, and one of the reasons why we're so looking forward to the fight, not just because the first fight was so great, because stylistically, look at the way those two guys fight, right? How could this be a bad fight? It's fantastic.
Now the best way to approach it is to find this stuff inside of
There's no change. Someone's going to get hit and it's going to be guns blazing.
Team GGG.
Yeah.
We were looking for him over there, big man.
Yeah. Stop it.
100%. Sammy looked up where he is. Yeah, he came on and said, I wouldn't like it.
Yes, the GAD special. And when we was in there, we were sat there and they was like across the room. And I went, and be getting all chairs out and stuff, setting these chairs out, and I thought, he's gonna do well. He's gonna be
so excited about that fucking play.
he's gonna be here. We were sat there praising him. Well, we met Craig once the day before.
What a guy. What a guy.
He's a real sweetheart.
Yeah. He took us down, like, sparring and stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that, he started stood with us for half an hour talking about boxing, he was like interested in when I was fighting and stuff like that. He didn't have to be like that, you know what I mean? I bet he gets people walking in there all the time like wanting to meet and stuff. But he took time out and talking to me about all different other types of fights, let us watch some top level fighters spar, and he was like really interested. Like, what an absolute legend.
He's very genuine. I got to interview him back when he was training George St. Pierre, when George St. Pierre was under him, and he's just as down to earth as you or any, you know, just a regular guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's over the moon.
And man, talk about a guy that's been around the world and seen it all. That guy.
Yeah,
training Pacquiao
and you know what, I thought, he said something about, I don't know if I felt the same with him for this fight, and he kind of like, and he was so engaging and endearing about Pacquiao, wasn't he? Saying, oh, Pacquiao plays basketball, even though...
The riders are lined up. The gate is about to...
What just happened? You. You.